Then there was a Pakistani guy called Jishan. So
उसके साथ कभी झगड़ा नहीं हुआ ना?
he was the only person I could talk to in my own language. So झगड़ा करने का बात ही नहीं था.
झगड़ा करने का सवाल ही नहीं है.
बाकी तो एक इंडोनेशियन एक चाइनीज. So I said इसके साथ झगड़ा करके मतलब नहीं है. खाना सेम है.
नहीं, हाँ.
I said cooking के लिए भी कुछ आता था ही नहीं.
90% और things are
Yeah,
similar.
so I said obviously, and we got along on those points only. No, that was really was like an open shop, a small shop. So I said quickly I'll go inside and come back. I kept my cycle outside. I ran inside. And literally in 2 minutes I bought my lock, I bought my chain and everything. बाहर आलो cycle गायब.
Shit.
Cycle गायब. Life happened.
My God.
I said
लक्ष्मी पूजन च्या दिवशी.
लक्ष्मी पूजन दिवशी सकाळी सायकल आणली, धुतली, रडलो, हे केलं ते केलं, लॉक आणायला गेलो, सायकल चोरीला गेली. Then short term these things. So then I immediately realized that I opened 11 restaurants in my 10 years of careers. That was fast. I said, what was the rush? So why did I need to do it? I could have opened 11 restaurants, 12 restaurants, 15 restaurants in 20 years. My lifestyle was not changing. I was busy working only. So what was I taking home? Nothing.
Okay.
Money was not a question. That whole fire of just hustling, the whole term of just hustling, we should hustle. That was, I felt that was the right thing to do at that age. That, there should be fire, there should be hustle, there should be, that is success.
Thank you for this.
So whole definition of success changed. Okay.
Was school better for you or college? What do you choose between school and college?
I don't think you can compare this. Nobody can compare what is better, whether it's school or college, because I think school makes you book smart and probably college makes you street smart. So
Okay, continue. Yeah.
And both the things are needed to, get on with your life. So I think, but like if you personally ask me, my school days have been good.
Compared to college.
Yeah, because obviously it is, where I probably thought my base was created as a personality.
Which school, by the way?
I was in Bishop School in Pune.
Okay.
One single school from start to end, and it's been great, amazing 11 years in that school. So I've obviously grown up as a kid all the way till I passed out as a teenager, and it's been amazing. I didn't feel like I was there for 11 years.
Okay. How do like memories? Come on. which
Memories, oh my God, like there's so many memories in these 11 years. I mean, I've never been like a studious child.
Studious child.
Yeah. I've never been like,
You were the last bencher.
I probably was always ranked in the last 5 in my class. But the best part was I always had, my best friends were like the ones who always topped in class.
Oh,
So it was
circle was good.
it was a dilemma for them, not for me. Like, my parents were proud that I had good friends, but their parents were like, why your friends with somebody who comes last in class? But it went well. I think we both had things to learn from each other, and that's why probably we got along.
But
So
that didn't impact you to study or anything like that? Like, for
well,
all,
like I said, it was a give and take, right? I mean, I could copy from him, so it made me
but
smarter.
still you were last.
Yeah, not every time, no. So wherever like we got a chance, I copied. I mean, I would say I passed because of them. And they probably had fun in school because of me, because I was the one who used to like bunking. I was the one who was very active in all the sports in school. So I had my different kind of privileges when I was in school, basically, where
You were the
I was allowed to officially bunk sometimes, which I used to misuse also, because I used to
officially
say,
allowed to bunk. Why?
yeah, because I would say
sports.
sports activities. I have my training. I have my, I was in school team for football, basketball.
Captain.
Not a captain, but I was a part of most of the sports in school, which was unlikely with everybody else. I did everything, and I was very good at athletics. And Bishop School was known for athletics, whether it was gymnastics or 100 meters, 200 meters sprints, relays, long jump, high jump, all those kind of activities. So I was pretty good at all
Any
of that.
incident kissa with your enemy?
Honestly, you know what? I don't know. This is this one good thing about my schooling, or even till now, that I don't have enemies. I mean, if I didn't get along with people, the story ended there. It never went sour with anybody.
Okay.
So but you could say if there was competitors, then there has been incidences, where people did not expect me to be as good as I was. I was always an
You
underdog.
are like Chaukat bait.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, there were incidences of these kind of things on ground. It was never out of school.
Okay, huh.
So
Not Chaukat bait.
चौकात
Ground
भेटना
वर
ground वर
bait.
भेट तुला दाखवतो. It was like that. So because obviously, like, how it is in school, right? People had their own ways of showing smartness. So
Huh.
I was always been like, oh, you don't know how to study, you don't know this, you're not good at this, you fail, you this, you that. So my only thing was like ground वर भेट. पळून दाखव माझ्याबरोबर.
So like you
तुझ्या मागं लागलो तर मग काय करणार? कुठं पळणार?
मग it's like की you are like criticized how a general student is criticized in class, like you तू दगड आहे आपको कुछ नहीं
नाही
आता.
असं नाही. Like I said, studies was something. It's just that I never gave it that importance to it, because like I said, my hobbies and my likings were different. So I focused on that. It was nothing to do with my personality. I was actually like the other people only, so we got along really well. It's just that I was good at something else and they were good at something else. So criticism was not there, because
From
like I said,
teachers.
Bishops was known for sports always. Obviously, studies was good, but sports was something that it is always like
Priority.
there's fan following, there's
Oh,
houses,
okay.
so there is a lot of cheering. Like basically when you're good at sports in school, the whole school is together.
Yeah.
But if you're good in studies, then it's only your class.
So you had fans.
Yeah, I mean, because I was one of the best sportsmen in the house. So when there were
Kunal
the
Dada.
final races and everything, the whole house used to cheer for you, whether it's for like junior school to senior school.
Okay.
So that was a different high altogether.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you're only studying, then it's probably only your class knows, right?
Yeah.
That you're the best in
Yeah.
this and you're the best
True.
in that. So I enjoyed the other fame where my entire school knew me. And I used to
Kunal Dada.
yeah. it was
School
good.
finished and then you entered college. What happened? As you said, college makes you street smart. I think.
Yeah, so college happened, but honestly, I don't have memories of college because I never attended. So,
75%
no, so like I said, we were a little on a spoiled brat side when it came to education. We were very overconfident. It's not a good thing to say, but I mean that's the image that I had when I got into college. That's what I thought, that now it's freedom, and I misuse that completely. Yeah, and also the whole excitement of like coming out of a boys' school and now going into a college where you're gonna have like
Oh, Bishops was a boys' school?
yeah.
Okay.
So
I thought you had girl fans as well.
no, it was all boys.
And then?
Going back to college was like a different high, because then that whole excitement of first time actually having like girls studying with you and like friends and all of these things and stuff like that. So we were all cool, and like I said, bunking to school में ही होता था, तो college क्या बड़ी बात है, that was the attitude. तो कर सकते हैं. And then
उसका फायदे और नुकसान क्या हुए?
नुकसान क्या, मतलब फेल कर दिया 11th में मेरे को. So
तो घर पे क्या हुआ?
that basically did not reach home.
Okay.
I failed in all the regular tests that happened until before the finals happened.
Okay.
I was strictly told that if you fail, you fail.
11th.
Yeah, and you're not going to 12th.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know it would be that serious, and I genuinely thought that कि school के जैसे last minute में पढ़ाई करके सब हो जाता है.
Okay. 11th
So,
what, science?
No, I was in commerce, and I was in that mindset, but it wasn't like that. The studies were actually difficult, and I had to.
कैसे घिसा है फिर? किसने मदद की?
So yeah, like just basically got somehow connected through again friends, met the right teachers, took tuitions for last 2 months, and the only request was कि पास होने तक का काम करा दो बस, because I cannot afford to fail. I had like by then I already started making my plans that I want to go abroad for studies at some point and everything.
For graduation.
So एक साल जब मस्ती में गया और जब अल्टीमेटम आया कि अगर ये पास नहीं करेंगे तो आगे नहीं जाएंगे, and then that whole fear of like repeating, which has never happened even in school, though I was not good at it, but it wasn't that bad.
35 में आया.
So reality check आला की म्हणजे त्रास होईल आता मस्ती केली तर. So then yeah, luckily I had good friends who supported. There were some teachers who said, this is what you need to focus on. These are the chapters you need to,
Which was college, by the way?
I was in Bodies.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that and somehow managed to sail through 11th. Luckily.
So 12th was a Shraddhanjali year for you.
So not really. 12th again initially was like that, but the seriousness was always there at the back of my mind that किती मस्ती करायची आणि
Mic close.
किती मस्ती करायची आणि किती टाइमपास करायचा त्याचा बॅलन्स कळला होता जरा बिकॉज दॅट स्ट्रेस दॅट हॅड टू गो थ्रू ऑफ वेदर आय वुड फिनिश माय 11th it took me some time to sit down and think about how much to balance and what. So we still obviously had fun in 12th. Went out even more. I used to play cricket at that point.
More in 12th than 11th.
Yeah, but तो पण कॉन्फिडन्स वाढला होता ना की मॅनिप्युलेशन पण होऊ शकतं. So सगळेच कॉन्फिडन्स वाढले होते. But yeah, I used to play cricket at that point at PYC, and I was aiming for the state to get selected in the state team for cricket, but my age was not fitting right. I was actually I was born in 87 Jan, so I was 1 year before time since school till I was in 12th. So my underage for 14, which was the selection process for the state tournament, and my 12th clashed at the same time, which is very unlikely for other people. So this normally happens to them when they're in 11th. This happened to me when I was in 12th. That I could not give 100% time to the cricket. But I still kept on trying. Unfortunately, that did not work out. But I did manage to get access to playing for clubs in the UK. The PYC used to take us on tours to UK.
Okay.
So 99 was the first time I went when I was in school to play cricket to London. Then 2001 was the second time I went, and that is where I got a bit of more exposure. And then basically where under 14 Maharashtra was not happening, I thought maybe I'll pursue my career in cricket if I have to in England. This also came because that time there was no IPL, there was nothing. Either you are playing for the country or there's no cricket. State level was there, but not like what we see today. It was non-glamorous. It was a lot of hard work. It was just a stepping stone. And as a career, there was only Indian cricket team. There was nothing in between.
Not even Ranji.
Yeah, but that also it's again, that's not the career, right? How many Ranji players do you know?
Okay.
How many Ranji players does people know? That's basically, it's a stepping stone to eventually reach to the Indian team. I mean, as a child or anybody, if you ask playing cricket, the goal was to play for the Indian team. But now today people say, yeah, I want to play for IPL, I want to do this, I want to do that,
But
I want to play for these clubs.
been in England cricket team, Kunal Mhaske.
So it wasn't about the England cricket team also, but what used to happen is they had evolved the club leagues basically. So the clubs, the counties and everything. So yeah. So they used to, by then the cricket was evolved a lot in the UK already. So when we used to go as a tour, I was offered to play from other clubs on paid basis. So that itself was, very different and unlikely what happened in India. So I said, okay, fine, probably there is some scope, that I might try abroad. So that's where the whole thought process started, that I want to
Go abroad.
go to the UK after my 12th directly, where I can play cricket also and I can pursue my further education also.
Okay, all right.
And then 12th happened, Jan clicked, 2 months there was exam, सगळं बंद केलं. फोकस एकच होता की लंडनला जायचं, तर नापास व्हायचा चान्सच नव्हता. ॲप्लिकेशन प्रोसेस चालू आहे. हां, म्हणजे सगळं सामदान दंड भेद करून आपल्याला पास व्हायचं आहे. जे करायला लागेल ते करायचं, फक्त पास व्हायचं.
किती मिळवायचे?
हां, so obviously grades was not a concern because like I said, I was not like, I was not ambitious about this is the university I want to be in. Like I said, the second goal was to go and play cricket also there. So I just wanted to go to the UK, and I had no knowledge about that. Nobody I knew who was in the UK already. I didn't know where to research from, what to do. So I used to just go and knock doors anywhere. Do you know anything about it? How can I go? What I should do? It was all self-learning about, moving abroad. And finally 12th happened, grades happened, I passed. And eventually then I had to tell my parents that I want to. And they were all in a shock that तुला काय पडलंय, म्हणजे अचानक अभ्यास करायचा, इतके वर्ष केलं नाही तुला, आता लंडनला जाऊन अभ्यास करायचा. So they were also in a shock, and I was 17 years old at that point. So these people said that it's too early. And plus, if I'm going after 12th, I had an education of minimum 4 to 5 years ahead of me. So everyone at that point thought की इतके वर्ष गेला म्हणजे तू परत येणारच नाही. हे ते, there are a lot of back and forth. My dad was not so keen on sending me abroad, but fortunately me talking to him, me applying without even telling him, me getting the application process done, then I had to tell him that आता झालंय सगळं, आता तरी जाऊन द्या. So eventually he allowed me to go. And then this whole next journey of my UK life started, basically.
Okay, go ahead with the UK life, yeah.
So yeah, UK life was interesting because, like I said, I reached, I finally locked down on University of Hertfordshire for my undergraduation.
Hertfordshire?
Yeah.
Oh, that was my university.
And I was in this town called Hatfield, which was actually like on the outskirts of London. It was not a fully developed city.
So village, rural kind of area?
Not a rural area, but it was town, yeah. And then it was an interesting thing. The first 2 days were the most interesting days of my UK life because, like I said, I thought I would probably go there on a Saturday or a Sunday so that, I can rest for one day and Monday I can start my process and everything. So I landed on the airport, there was taxi there. I said, I want to go to the university and I booked my accommodation and everything. So I just knew where I had to reach to the reception. Taxi dropped me there, but तिथं पोहोचल्यानंतर कळलं की आज संडे सगळं बंद असतं. And I had my luggage, no phone with me, nothing. I've reached there in an odd hour of like 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
Didn't know what to do, where to collect my keys from because everything is shut and I didn't have a म्हणजे काय करायचं काहीच माहिती नाही. मी एकटा तिथं. I was 17 years old with 5 bags standing on the road at the bus stop of our university.
So you didn't knew like your peers as well, right?
Nothing. And
काय केलं?
that town was such that taxis पण नाही. म्हणजे you had to call for a taxi. Radio cabs, phone पण नाही.
Cash तरी होता.
So yeah, obviously money was there, but करणार काय म्हणजे त्याची बोट बनवून थोडी जाणार त्यात बसून. So literally those 2-3 hours I'm literally wondering what do I do. Eventually I had to just drag my bags. I saw this one hotel where I said, this is probably the only option I have. Went and stayed in the hotel. That being the only hotel in Hatfield had ridiculous prices, which was almost half of my monthly expense that I had to pay for my first night. I think my room cost me about £180 or something at that point. But I didn't have an option, so I was on a weird guilt trip. I didn't know whether what is happening, am I stupid to do all these things, or whether I've literally screwed up somewhere. काहीतरी माझ्याकडनं चुकलंय, मी कसं काय संडेला पोहोचलोय, काहीच माहिती नव्हतं. So basically then the stay happened. It was a bit expensive. I was wondering what the hell. म्हणजे नाही का आपण पहिल्यांदा चाललोय एवढं rupees to pound calculation, everything, all of that. I was like, I don't want to be a spoiled brat because I've literally convinced my father to go, so that whole pressure was there that I cannot screw up.
Yeah.
I have to make sure whatever I'm doing there, I'm doing very responsibly. So all this happened. Monday happened.
No, after that hotel, what happened?
That's what I'm saying. So राहिलो तिथं म्हणजे सगळं झालं कसं बसं पॅकिंग केलं त्यांना रिक्वेस्ट केली माझं लगेज इथं राहून द्या. I have to go to the college. I'll figure out my room and everything. I'll come back. Next day morning, walked
so they
around.
helped you to go to university with the bags?
No, bags were kept at the hotel.
Achha.
Then next day I went to the university in the morning. Eventually figured out where, what, everything. Got the room keys and everything. आणि गेलो हॉटेलला. आता चावी मिळाली घराची. घर कुठे दिसलं दाखवलं सगळं. I said okay fine, let's take all the luggage. They arranged me a cab. कॅबमध्ये टाकलं सगळं. त्यांनी घराच्या बाहेर जाऊन सोडलं मला.
किती लागले कॅबला?
I think that time it was about £30 or something like that. Everything is expensive in the UK. Yeah. But
£30 is also too much.
Yeah, but like certain things I couldn't avoid. So anyway, I reached outside my house. He dropped me with all my 5 bags and everything. आणि गेला निघून तो. दार उघडतोय तर घर मोकळं अख्खं म्हणजे नो फर्निचर, नो नथिंग, नो कर्टन्स, नो बेडशीट्स, नो नथिंग. मी म्हटलं मला I never expected that.
Yeah, I am imagining. Okay.
So when I was booking my room from India, like I had the choice whether to stay in the university accommodation, the halls, or through them they allocated a house. So मला वाटलं हॉस्टेल सारखं असेल तिकडे रूल्स रेग्युलेशन असतील. म्हटलं आपल्याला हॉस्टेलमध्ये तर काय राहायचं नाही लंडनला जाऊन. म्हटलं आपलं स्वतःचं घर पाहिजे म्हणून त्यांना सांगितलं घराचं ऑप्शन द्या. So went there. Yeah, it's a house shared by 4 people.
4 people, yeah.
4 different rooms and then you have a common kitchen and garden and everything. And so I said, I want a house like that. But I didn't know the house would come like bare shell. म्हणजे तिथं काहीच नाही. आणि हे सगळं करता करता घराच्या बाहेर पोचता पोचता मला ऑलरेडी परत संध्याकाळ झाली होती.
मग तुम्ही अरेंज केला सगळं?
सो मी टू गो टू द युनिव्हर्सिटी, कलेक्ट माय कीज, गेट माय ॲप्लिकेशन प्रोसेस डन, द होल थिंग. कुठंतरी जाऊन काहीतरी कॅन्टीनमध्ये खाऊन सगळं करून घरी पोचलो आता सगळं. मग बॅगा उचलून आत नेल्या, सगळं केलं. माझी रूम मला दिसली. कर्टन्स नाही, काय नाही, बेड कवर्स नाही. असं म्हटलं तर काय करायचं नाही. वॉज ऑलरेडी द टेम्परेचर वॉज
काहीच लाईक बेडशीट्स अँड ऑल?
I didn't carry the basics, no. I mean, I was like, ठीक आहे, तेवढं तरी असलंच पाहिजे तिथं.
Okay.
And then like I kept all my bags inside. Now I'm like wondering what to do. आता हे पुण्यात कधी गेलो नाही, पडदे घ्यायला आणि टेबल क्लॉथ घ्यायला आणि बेडशीट घ्यायला, तर तिकडे कुठं कळायचं. So I said, okay, fine, we'll figure it out. By the time I kept my luggage and everything, stepped out, Hatfield town, everything shuts at 6 o'clock already. So I said, no, there is no option. I stayed my first night literally sleeping on the carpet over my towel. Like, because that was the only option. And it was freezing, the windows were uncovered and everything. So that was the only option. But like I said, these 2 days are the days which my whole trip starts from and ends there. Like, these are the 2 days I'm telling you, which taught me a lot of things, whether it's strategy, planning, how you should be prepped for what you should be prepped. Fortunately,
ready for anything what comes.
Yeah. You figure out a lot of these things. I mean, I'm not talking about on a holistic life level, but at that age, that, if I've come to this country, you can't take it lightly. If I've decided to come alone, I cannot screw up. There is no chance. Otherwise, this is directly suffering and a cost. Both. Your time is going to go, your efforts are going to go,
your resources
you're going to be stressed, and money is going to go.
Yeah, true.
So, and it's not worth it if you're careless. So you have to be on your toes, is what I learned in the first 2 days in UK.
So how did you manage then? काय झालं मग?
Then nothing, life went on. Obviously college started. Till then, other 2-3 people started moving in. Then, there was a Chinese who was staying with us. There's a very close friend of mine, it's called Pavan, who's from Indonesia. He was one of my first housemates, and he's still like a very closest friend to me. Then there was a Pakistani guy called Jishan. So
उसके साथ कभी झगड़ा नहीं हुआ ना?
he was the only person I could talk to in my own language. So झगड़ा करने का बात ही नहीं था.
झगड़ा करने का सवाल ही नहीं है.
बाकी तो एक इंडोनेशियन, एक चाइनीज. So I said, इसके साथ झगड़ा करके मतलब नहीं है, खाना सेम है.
नहीं, हाँ.
I said, कुकिंग के लिए भी कुछ आता तो है नहीं. Yeah, so I said, obviously, and we got along on those points only. That was the best thing. I mean, we say India, Pakistan and India. और उसका मतलब वैल्यू उधर जाके समझता है कि अगर कोई बंदे का और तुम्हारा लाइकिंग्स एंड लिविंग सेम है, तो ही इज द क्लोजेस्ट पर्सन यू कैन बी टू. दैट इज व्हाट आई लर्नड. Then it doesn't matter whether it's from Pakistan or any other country.
I have listened to a lot of these experiences. Outside they are living like, bhai, tooth रे, you tooth. And when you come here,
Pakistan is a problem only in India. If you go outside, there is no problem.
Pakistan isn't a problem.
I mean, even our own people will shit bricks to say, अरे, you're a Pakistani, I want to fight with you. बाहेर गेल्यावर दोस्त होऊन जातात लगेच. इथं आपल्या घरात बसून म्हणायला सोपं आहे सगळं. So yeah, a lot of things were there. I mean, like, learning, adapting to the education standards. Obviously, earlier, being a little, feeling a little different in the new country where nobody knows you. It's not easy to get along with somebody because obviously your likings, your lifestyle, everything has been so different. So that 1 year was a learning process of,
First 1 year
of, just being in a new country. Education was secondary, college was secondary. It was just the ecosystem basically. So I was learning to live there. Because I always knew that I have minimum 4-5 years here. So that first 1 year was only creating that mindset that first and foremost, I have to be okay to live here for that long. Then I'll see what I have to do, whether it is sports or college or masters or whatever. But राहायला तर जमलं पाहिजे तिथं. म्हणजे खाणं पिणं, that's what I'm saying. खाणं पिणं झालं, तुमचं मित्र बनली पाहिजे, तुमची इकोसिस्टम क्रिएट झाली पाहिजे, where you would like to live there. You cannot do great things without being comfortable in a situation. Your mind cannot come up with brilliant ideas unless it's
You're
in,
calm
in a
and
in a
settled.
comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like you want to be stable there in your mind to take good decisions.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I was learning. So I was exploring everything. Then obviously it came to cricket, which was one of the reasons I wanted to go to UK. So I joined the university club. I started practicing there and everything.
Okay.
And obviously because of the weather conditions in the UK, they play the matches and tournaments only happen in summers.
Okay.
So throughout the year is only practice, whether it's indoor or outdoor or whatever it is. So I kept doing that, and that was something that I realized that it's different here because in India we play cricket all throughout the year,
Yeah, true.
while there it is only in summers. So that was something that I thought, okay, what do I do otherwise? I have my college, which is not like again schooling here. It is only twice or thrice a week, and then you have the rest of the time. So what do I do? And then even cricket as such, there is see, anything and everything is a cost in the UK. So even if you had to play as practice, it came with the cost of booking the turf. So how much can you even do? So we had to restrict our limits, in terms of playing twice a week, thrice a week, or whatever it is, and stuff like that. So I had a lot of time, and then that's where it started coming up to a point where I cannot sit idle. So let's work, and let's work at least to cover up my these costs, that I can play cricket whenever I want to. I can travel a little bit and all these things since I have the time. So then I started working. Looking for a job. So this Pakistani friend of mine was the first person who got me the first job. I applied almost at 20-25 places, but being 17, it was not. I'm not sure whether it was legal age or not. I think you are allowed to work if you are below 18, but with some terms and conditions. And I was in that zone. I was 17, and I was not getting a job being an international student unless I'm 18, because my visa permitted to work for 40 hours a week only. 20 hours a week only on part-time basis after 18. So then this Pakistani friend of mine, he had his uncle who had a business of making sandwiches and supplying to these corner shops.
Okay.
So he was the one who gave me the first job where I was making sandwiches and packing. And he was not. It was not a big company. It was a small
Startup kind of a thing.
homegrown business. So he used to make sandwiches in his kitchen and backyard, and that is the place I got a job as the first job. And me and this guy used to go, like to this twice a week. And
What's
I
his
was
name, by the way?
Zishan.
Jishan, okay.
Twice a week, and make these sandwiches and come. But then at some point, the other friends of mine started telling me, "Arey, what are you doing? You're doing an illegal job.
Oh,
You will be kicked out of the country and everything.
Oh.
Don't get into all this nonsense. It is not right. You've come here to study. You've come here to do this." 10,000 thoughts. So somewhere even I panicked. I said, "Yeah, actually, I've not come here to make sandwiches. my priorities are different." So I said, let's not get excited with this, and I cut it off. So I quit that job after 2 days, but that was still my first job. And I think I used to get, like, because it was not 100% official, I used to get like £3 per hour,
Yeah.
which ideally I was supposed to get like £5.5 per hour.
Okay.
But I used to get £3. I said, okay, I'm not here to like make money out of this. I just wanted to.
My main aim is not to open a sandwich shop.
Yeah, no, and also I said, okay, fine, because this came up, I took it up. I was not getting a job anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, and then I quit that job. Again, things were moving on. We got excited because Christmas was coming up. They start prepping for Christmas 2 months in advance. The whole city starts looking good. It's decorated. And that's the best opportunity to get a job, because they have a lot of additional Christmas jobs, which are specifically only for Christmas. So it's from 1st of December to 26th of December. And it's very easy to get, because it's just because everything is so busy that they just want more people. And it was not about the skills. They would train you. So they were hiring left, right, center. And that was the first time I got an official job in this company called Asda, which is a big supermarket chain. And I got a night job there to unload stuff from the trucks to the their cooling unit.
Areas,
Yeah.
Storing areas.
Storing areas, the cold storages basically. So that was my job. But
Hold
then
on. It's England or whatsoever, UK. It's night, You're freezing.
Yeah. But like I said, I told you, right? I mean, to get the first job in the UK is very difficult
Okay.
because basically, like, everything is documents there, everything is papers there, everything is, supported by this thing.
Docs.
So to get that profile ready, to get that file ready, you have to have somebody who's hired you, somebody who's, they have this policy of this thing called as national insurance number, which is like a PAN card in India. So to get that national insurance number, you needed a job. And most of the bigger companies gave you a job if you had a national insurance number. So that was a vicious circle. So these people got me a job. I got that job. I said, okay, fine, this is the only option. Let me take it. But at least I knew my paperwork would happen. I will build my file to apply for other thing. And I said, it's anyways a temporary job. It's just a Christmas job. We had holidays anyway. So it didn't matter what time we slept and what time we woke up. And like I said, Hatfield was a student town. So everyone was working. Like literally, I mean, Asda was filled with people from our universities. So it was fun. It was more like, chalo sham ko khana wana kha ke kaam pe jana hai, subah tak time pass karna hai aur wapas aana hai. That was a journey, So I knew a couple of people who had joined. We all applied together and we all got that job. So somebody was on the floor who had a job to like stack up their aisles, stock up the whole shelves and everything. I had a job of unloading from the trucks to the cold storage.
So it was a good team.
So it was fun. We all used to go together and we all used to come back together. That was fun, and that's how the whole process of
Do you
me.
have any once what happened I tell you?
Once what happened, I tell you, is it was freezing. I was working in a cold storage, so obviously most of the things were perishable. That's why they were put in cold storages. So there was this policy in the supermarkets that anything that has only 1 or 2 days left on expiry, you were allowed to take it home.
Oh, okay.
So I was not a fan of too many things. So all my friends, everyone used to take like whatever they wanted, whether it was breads to like pastries to like everything and stuff like that. Everyone took, and I said, okay, fine, sab le rahe to main bhi lunga. When I went to see what is there, the only thing which was left was ice creams.
Shit.
I said, it's cold. It's December. I'm working in a cold storage और खाने को क्या है तो ice cream. But just the fact that it was free, I ate it and I had 3 ice creams.
Okay. Sad life.
But yeah, like I mean, these were the small bits and stuff. Obviously, I felt sick after that and all of that happened. But yeah, I mean, these are the stupid things we used to do, because that's a student life.
Yeah.
Anything that comes for free is like a gift. Like it literally felt like Santa Claus ने दिया है. So नहीं बोलने का. So yeah, then these were the scenarios. Then Christmas happened, first job happened, chutti lag gaya, whatever the money was earned, we celebrated. Everyone celebrated our New Year's together. Went out to the central London, partied, did all of that. It was a good experience. And then again, the process of
any experiences with girls in central London?
So
Once what happened?
actually, it is a very like I said, I mean, I would say in short that ऐसा पार्टी हो गया कि 11:30 से लेके 2 बजे तक क्या हो गया मेरे को याद ही नहीं. I didn't see the New Year's.
You were on
Because this is the first time I got so excited to party that I passed out before 11:30, before 12. So yeah, it was a story that happened. Obviously, again, I have to keep it off the record,
But you weren't on Earth.
I don't know where I was. They said we went to London, and I believed it.
Okay. And then?
But yeah, it was a good celebration basically. And then again, life went on. Studies आता है बीच में, फिर matches आता है, and all of those things happened. Practice होता था. Job journey started again. So I said, okay, fine. Now I've got I'm in a position to apply anywhere I want. Then I started choosing what I want to do. So I said, okay, let's do one thing. Then वो होता था ना, मतलब student town में रह रहे तो everyone, you're actually just doing what everyone is doing. Because you are so young.
The bandwagon. Yeah.
You have to, friends were live there. There was no family. So whoever you knew were your ecosystem. So जो वो suggest करते थे उसमें try करते थे and all of these things. So एक वो trick समझ में आया था कि basically being a university town, most of these places, whether it's food places to cinemas to like supermarkets to like your shopping places, everywhere there were only students working. And you know, deals was the factor कि सबको कुछ ना कुछ deal मिलता था. So staff had their discounts that they were allowed. If you're working in McDonald's or Burger King, they were allowed free meals. If I was working in cinema, we got free tickets. If somebody's working in a Starbucks or a Costa, they got free coffees.
I would choose cinema.
So हम लोग का वो ऐसा एक गैंग बनाया हमने कि तू मैकडोनल्ड्स में काम कर, तू स्टारबक्स में काम कर, तू सिनेमा में काम कर, मैं इधर काम कर, एंड सब एक दूसरे का फ्री खाएंगे, सबको सब मिलेगा.
Great, excellent, yeah.
So सबको सब मिलेगा. That's how we basically started our first job. So I got a job in this company called Deep Pan Pizza, which was a pizza outlet. It was a dining in. So obviously I used to get like coupons for friends and family, you know, which we exchanged with somebody who was working at McDonald's, who exchanged with somebody. सबको मिलता था. That was the whole culture there. So I had a good group where there was this one big mall called the Galleria in Hatfield, where you know जितने भी अपने टाइप के दुकानें थे या cafes थे या whatever, we had friends working there.
Okay.
So it was a life, you know, like किधर भी जाओ कुछ ना कुछ free मिलता है. So that became a nice ecosystem for us, where पिक्चर देखना है तो कोई ना कोई काम पकड़ रहा है वहाँ पे, उससे 2 टिकट्स ले लेंगे, उसके बाद मैकडोनल्ड्स जाके बर्गर खा लेंगे, दूसरे दिन वो आता था मेरे पिज़्ज़ा इस पे, मैं एक पिज़्ज़ा उसको फ्री में बना के देता था. So all of these kind of things used to happen, and that was a UK life. But yes, ये सब करते करते थोड़ी पढ़ाई भी की.
पढ़ाई इधर छोड़ी नहीं.
So, but first year was a little easy in the UK because obviously it's designed for international students. People who come from abroad have challenges of language barriers, you know, have problems with the you know, the systems of the education systems. Basically, it's not like India, right? I mean, UK is
totally
more
different.
self-learning, self-research,
Practical
more
oriented.
practical approach to your education. It's more of your perception about what you think about these subjects, and not just teach you this is what it is and you have to believe it.
Yeah.
So I was learning that process. It was interesting, you know, sitting and meeting people. You were put in so many groups.
Any prominent
Confidence
from there. Once what happened?
from that situation, not really. I mean, it was interesting because end of the first year was actually one of our topics was entrepreneurship, one of the subjects. So उसमें entrepreneurship का exam ऐसा था that we were put into four people का groups, and we had to make a small business model.
Oh, okay.
And actually have a small business set up in school where you earn money and then you had to tie up with a charity to donate that money to a charity.
Okay.
So it was obviously a non-profit making thing because it was not legally allowed. But first we had to go and, you know, take a letter from the college, associate with a charity, and then tell them that this is what we'll do to raise funds for you. But the idea was to have a business, small business done in this thing.
So what did you people do?
So this is what I did. Basically, I was working in a pizza place.
Huh.
Coupons होते थे, offers चलते थे. So we said, you know what, let's do one thing. I'll get the pizzas. You know, 10 रुपए में 10 पिज़्ज़ा लेके आता था, जो basically
10 pounds में 10 pizzas.
I'm just saying, like I'm giving you an odd number that अगर normally एक पिज़्ज़ा 10 पाउंड का है तो मैं 10 में 5 लेके आता हूँ.
Okay.
By putting this coupon, putting that coupon, मेरा working discount and stuff like that. There's another friend of mine who was working in the supermarket. He had this whole system of कि expiry वाले items लेके आने, क्योंकि हम लोग को एक ही दिन के लिए करना था. हम लोग को storage करना ही नहीं था.
Okay.
So I said, you get me whatever you can, you know, from there. So he got me like these mini Coke cans, which were supposed to expire in 2 days,
Oh, okay.
which was at 90% discount.
Okay.
So I bought those from them. Then there was another friend, this Indonesian friend of mine. He knew somebody who was into printing t-shirts that time. So we came up with this whole idea that we'll sell all these things like pizza by slice, a can at a pound. So technically somebody who felt like eating pizzas, we had 5 options. You don't have to buy a pizza, we're selling pizza by slice there. And while you're doing that, you could design your own t-shirt and we'll print it for you.
Okay.
So that was a small model that we did basically. But everything was done. The t-shirts thing was not putting money from our pocket. Pizza's margin was 90% and Coke's margin was 180% because I got it on a wholesale of 90% discount and we sold it at like double the price each
Great.
can.
Yeah.
So it was fun. Like these kind of activities
It was
happened and
success.
everything.
Like Mila, sahi. Everything
Yeah,
was
we were the highest because
Okay.
everyone actually went into like typical businesses. कि मैं ये लेके आऊँगा उसको ऐसा करूँगा वैसा करूँगा 10% मार्जिन करूँगा
Oh.
अरे हमारा कॉस्ट 10% था और 90% मार्जिन था
Margin था.
बिकॉज वी वेंट इनटू सिंप्लिसिटी
Yeah.
वी वेंट इनटू ठीक है पिज्जा बेचने में क्या लगता है और कौन नहीं लेगा पिज्जा
हाँ, true.
इफ यू आर गेटिंग अ पिज्जा ऑन कैंपस राइट देयर फ्रेशली एंड वी हैड फ्री डिलीवरीज वी यूज्ड टू ऑर्डर फ्रॉम द टेबल ओनली वो डिलीवर रेस्टोरेंट आके करके जाता था
Oh, okay.
so logistics worked out very well it was a very smart thing that you know something so easy could make us so much money where people actually went in rocket science businesses कि मैं ऐसा करूँगा मैं वो करूँगा मैं ऐसे ये पार्ट में ऐसा करूँगा इसके साथ ये ट्रेडिंग करेंगे उसके साथ वो करेंगे
Yeah.
end of the day that's what I realized that money making is not difficult you just have to be smart you know anything can make you money
Yeah. Okay.
so it was good that was one of the interesting parts about my first year's university life friends
What are the prominent stories of UK?
prominent stories of UK honestly I would divide UK into like 4 parts one was you know education second was work third was friends and fourth was just life so a lot of times life used to happen you know
Okay, once what happened?
I remember this one time where cycles you know commuting around the town was difficult because either it was taxis or buses
Okay.
because the distances were too far so if you're walking it's minimum 20 minutes walk to anything so I said, okay, let me get a cycle at least. But it was weirdly, knowledgeable to me that cycles were very expensive in the UK.
Okay.
So here, when I probably left India at that point, you could get a very good cycle in 4,000 to 5,000 rupees.
Yeah, true. Huh.
I mean, very good I'm talking about. जो best available था market में 4-5 हज़ार का मिलता था. There, nothing new was available below 150 to 200 pounds. Which was directly 20,000. And वो believe ही नहीं हो रहा था कि 20,000 रुपये का साइकिल कैसे ले सकता है कोई.
Yeah.
मतलब मैं इंडिया में थोड़े और पैसे डाल तो पल्सर आ जाता
Yeah.
so I said you know how do I get this so somebody told me that there is so and so site like OLX वैसे वो टाइम पे Gumtree होता था कि people do listings and everything and you will find a good cycle there you check it out I said okay वो करते करते I found a listing I found the cycle that guy agreed to sell me the bike for 80 pounds
Okay.
so 80 pounds was still a lot at that point, 7,000-8,000 bucks was like, okay, ठीक है, second hand पुराना cycle 7,000-8 हज़ार का ले रहे तो it was still something. So I said, okay, I went, I picked up the cycle, I got it home and I got this cycle on Lakshmi Pujan Day.
Oh, okay.
दिवाली का हाँ so I said दिवाली है हम लोग इधर बैठे इंडिया में दिवाली सेलिब्रेट हो रही है so I said even I'll how we operate in India that on such days we buy whatever we want to buy so I said I buy my cycle on Diwali I got on Diwali days so in the morning I'm washing my cycle I'm cleaning it properly because it was a second hand I'm trying to like make it look new good and then all of a sudden my parents call up my family calls up काय चालू है so I somehow just started crying. I said, "This Diwali चालू है. These guys are celebrating and all that, and I'm sitting and washing my second-hand cycle here, which I bought or whatever. Like that whole life happens, right?
Yeah.
Where if I was in India with my friends and family and Diwali time, what I would be doing? To vis-a-vis in London, there's nobody around here, and what is happening? So basically, parents called, cousins called. इथं संध्याकाळ होती. सगळे आपले लक्ष्मीपूजनला निघाले होते. मी तिथं दुपारी बसून सायकल धुतोय एकटा बसलोय फ्रेंड्स नाही काय नाही so that whole feeling of like I just want to go back home that was going on and I started like I was very overwhelmed यार काय है but still here I wouldn't say life happened after this I said okay all said and done spoke to everyone said it is what it is I'm here now I have to learn to be happy or whatever like said okay chalo the best part is I bought a new cycle today so I'm going to go around the town riding my bike checking out places or whatever it is Diwali या छुट्टी है फिरू
दिवाळी सुट्टी असते
in the sense we had taken an off here I wouldn't like I said I will not do anything on that day. That was like my off. But cycle घेतली निघालो. गेलो एका जागी म्हणलं अरे इथं तर थांबलं लॉक केला पाहिजे सायकलला लॉकच नाही.
Oh.
So I said okay we'll go and buy a lock first and then we'll roam around and everything. So I went to this place where the hardware type, it was a shop that I'd buy a chain and a lock. And literally it was like an open shop, a small shop. So I said quickly I'll go inside and come back. I kept my cycle outside. I ran inside. And literally in 2 minutes I bought my lock, I bought my chain and everything. Buyer allo cycle gayab.
Shit.
Cycle gayab. Life happened.
My God.
I said
लक्ष्मी पूजनच्या दिवशी.
लक्ष्मी पूजनच्या दिवशी सकाळी सायकल आणली धुतली रडलो हे केलं ते केलं लॉक आणायला गेलो सायकल चोरीला गेली. I was like what the hell for at least for 45 minutes to 1 hour I was thinking somebody fucking around with me. कोणतरी असं मस्ती करतंय माझ्याशी इकडं बघ तिकडं बघ शोधतोय कोण आहे काय आहे मित्रांनी पाहिलं का हे केलं का म्हणलं हाऊ कॅन इट बी प्रॅक्टिकली पॉसिबल दॅट आय गो इनसाइड फॉर लिटरली like 2 minutes and the cycle is gone. So somebody must be watching me or whatever. Or I said how can this happen? आणि गेली ना बाईक विचारलं सगळं 2 तास सगळ्याला विचारलं eventually that guy was like go to the police station put a complaint and everything. सगळं माझ्याकडे काय पेपर नाही काय नाही रिसीट नाही सगळं नाही पण गेलो तरी मी म्हटलं अरे यार एवढी घासूघुसू करून सायकल घेतली हे पण 80 पाऊंडला घेतली आता कसं करायचं हे करायचं गेलो पोलीस. I went there and that's what I'm saying. The life was happening that bloody hell. It's Diwali. It's the time to celebrate. I'm sitting in a police station in London trying to put down a complaint कि my cycle चोरीला गेली. I was like hell to this, complaint केली गप आपलं काय कुणाची बोललं नाही काय नाही घरी गेलो मोबाईल बंद केला आणि झोपलो. हॅपी दिवाळी टू माय सेल्फ ओढली चादर झोपलो. So yeah, I mean it's not
some more life happened.
So these kind of things keep happening, right? I mean, like these are the little things which actually make you stronger.
Very empathizing you what you might have felt.
Already that thing was there that मी एकटं इकडं फॅमिली नाहीये हे नाहीये दिवाळी ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आणि त्यात असं काहीतरी होतं जे तुम्ही इतका विचार करून घेऊ का नको सायकल त्या दिवशी घेता तिला धुता साफ करता आणि नंतर
But what happened? काय कळलं का?
नाही nothing. It went. It never came back. But yeah, probably it was not meant to happen. I think that cycle was bought only to teach me a lesson.
Okay.
And I learned, and like I said today, I remember. So any small mistake, आपल्या ह्याच्यात नाही का ते मन आहे म्हणजे कावळा बसायला आणि फांदी तुटायला. हे खरं सिरियसली घेतलं पाहिजे विषय बिकॉज वी टेक अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स फॉर ग्रांटेड अँड वी कीप सेईंग इट्स ओके नथिंग विल हॅपन. ठीक आहे 5 मिनिटाचं आहे ठीक आहे 2 मिनिटाचं आहे पण जे काय व्हायचं असतं ते 2 मिनिटातच होतं. सो these are the things that you need to learn, whether it is today's world of business, banking, like, road, traffic, driving, all these things. That moment makes me like, come down from wherever I am to reality that boys, even if it's 30 seconds, I will not take a chance.
Okay.
So
I'll take this lesson from you.
No, it does make sense. We take so many risks in our day-to-day lives. I mean, and we think it's a thrill. We think we are confident. We think we've done it before and nothing's happened. But that's the thing. कावळा बसायला आणि फांदी तुटायला. की तुम्ही कधीतरी जस्ट म्हणजे गरज नसेल तरी तेव्हा काहीतरी करायला असाल ना तेव्हाच ते काहीतरी मॅटर होतं. And then you'll regret that shit. I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. So how was ending UK for you?
UK was amazing. Then in the third year, education happened. Obviously, this is why I had gone for. This is what I wanted to do. You start thinking about career. You start thinking about future. You start thinking about now you're passing out. You're graduating, further studies. पुढं काय करायचं काय नाही करायचं. So a lot of questions keep coming up. I was facing all of them. It was tough to make calls, make decisions. I decided to further pursue my masters. Then I wanted to be in a particular university. तिथले काही prerequisites होते. Somewhere I could get into, somewhere I couldn't get into. I got into my masters. I studied sustainability and management.
That's the reason you're able to sustain today.
I got lucky, honestly, because my first preference was not sustainability and management. That was my second preference, and I got into the second preference. But I didn't know this would be such a big deal today. And I'm lucky to actually study that. But yeah, then that happened. Masters happened. Masters was difficult. Friends were parted. Changed the university. People. There was a point. No, not this thing. I mean, we knew we will be in touch, but that feeling of like some people you're never going to see again in your life. the fact that you've lived with certain people, you've probably not friends with them, but these are these people who you worked with. These are the people you go to a shop and that shopkeeper is there every day. You've bought stuff from him for so many years, and now you're not going to see him ever again. What are the chances of me going back again in the same town and he being there in
Very
the same
less.
shop?
Yeah.
So till the time I met them 100 times in my whole 3-4 years, I met them. But the day you have to leave, that is something, and that is something that
That's change.
today's world, everyone can fear. Imagine we are living in a country here in India and living a day-to-day life. These scenarios are not in front of you. असं अचानक कोणाला बघून वाटत नाही की उद्यापासून हा माणूस मला कधीच दिसणार नाही परत.
Yeah.
So that happened there, right? I was going to leave. I was going to come back to India. So I knew there were so many things that I'm never in my life going to see them again. And these were in my life of the most crucial stage, where I was in that phase where I became like from a child or a kid to being a person who's now looking for a career, looking at making money, looking at like establishing my life from here on. So these things are different emotions altogether. You start realizing, you start looking at things in a very different way. So that was a phase. You don't know again what you're doing is right or wrong, good or bad. Whether you will be successful or not. These 100 questions are there in everybody's mind at this age. And that was happening. Yeah.
Doubt and uncertainty.
But then I said, okay, you know what? Like,
We'll figure it out.
yeah, I said, fine. At the end of the day, the only choice I had was I had to come back to India because my dad was very particular about the fact that, your career is here. We have family business and you have to come and face that. So I said, okay. I did give it a shot to ask him whether I should, look at working there for a couple of years. Not again for making money, not again for career, but just wanted to do a legit job.
Yeah.
Like I did about 10 to 12 jobs in the UK, but they were all more for like, experiences, more for like fun, more for like learnings and all these kind of things. And most of them were in F&B. So I worked in cafes, to bars, to nightclubs, to all these places just for experiences.
We'll just tell one or two things from bar or nightclubs and then we'll go.
That's what I'm saying. So how I started working in a pizza place with the intention of having free pizzas. I started working in a nightclub of the intention of free entry because you needed girls to enter with, and there was always
Stag entry was not
allowed. So I said, you know what, I'll be inside only. The entry is a problem. So I said I'll work in a nightclub only. And literally that was the intention, that I will work.
Once what happened in nightclub,
Once what happened is this thing only happened. Not once, many times it happened that we went there, we were not allowed to go inside.
We
went there for a party and we were not allowed to enter.
Boys only were not allowed to
Not allowed to enter,
So you didn't had your classmates?
No, so it was not like that. I mean, it was basically like, generally it was random times where you just wanted to go out with your boys or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they were friends, but I never had too many friends. My friends were scattered in the UK. Like, I had work friends, I had uni friends, I used to play cricket, so I had cricket friends. So I never was in a group. I never had a group. So basically, like, I didn't know what my plans used to be in the night. Like, at the end of the day, if I'm at work, maybe I just go out from there. If I was doing something, I would go out from there.
Yeah.
So there were so many instances that this going to a nightclub was always a problem. We never got entry. Milega ki nahi milega, guarantee nahi. That day I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm going to work in a nightclub. And this nightclub has stopped me 3 times. I will work in this nightclub only. I'll be there inside every day. So that was the whole idea of going into a nightclub and working. So I experienced all the F&Bs. Coming back to point where I finished my masters, I thought, I'll work here for a couple of years. But dad said no, I had to come back. He had some plans for me. So I came back and the journey of UK finished and India chapter started.
What exactly did your father have for you? But
Yeah, so basically, like I said, we have family business here. Our core family business was real estate and hotels. So we had Shantai Hotel, we have Dreamland Hotel. And like I said, real estate was the core business. So my dad wanted me to pursue real estate. Because at that point, construction in Pune was boom. We were not into construction. But since we were into real estate, he wanted me to pursue that. And obviously, I was too young to like do anything as soon as I came back.
you're 21, right?
Yeah. So I was 21 when I came back and so he basically said that, okay, fine, like get into the system, start learning things, see how things are, see what land documents are, like see how the process of buying a land is or selling a land is, get into all that process. So I was put up with a few of my staff to learn these things. So I used to just accompany them, whether it was any documentations to be done, whether it was to go to any of the collector office or courts for any of the permissions that needs for buying and selling lands and all these things. So it's a slow process. It's never like as fast as any other business.
Today done, tomorrow done. No.
Yeah. So I started doing that, and my age was also a little bit of a barrier because I was too young to like talk to the bureaucrats or talk to these people who are sitting on an authority to give me that kind of priority or whatever it is. We all know how things work in India. Like it's a different ball game altogether. We say it's a system, but it's not a system, and that is where we have to fit in. That is the trick that we have to use to get your work done with and without the system. So I was learning all these things. Went on for like a year. I was working on different
What were the
aspects.
struggles at that time?
So struggles with that only, like there was little scenarios that if I went to a particular office to do some work, they used to literally look at me and my face saying that why is a kid come here to like do all these things, like, and they should not take me seriously. So there were scenarios like they'll make me sit for 1.5 hour, 2 hours.
Okay.
Then I'm sitting and talking to them. Asa kamani alo hoto. Acha theek hai, no problem. I'll talk to your dad.
Oh.
And I was sent back. So there was nothing really happening from my side. Though I was trying to initiate it, but it was not working out because at the end of the day, like, it was too big a responsibility for my age to talk to these people and stuff like that. It's a great thing that my dad believed I could do it, but it was not happening. So I used to get a little demotivated when I came back. That की मी काय असंच उगीच जाऊन बसतोय तिथं, कामं तर काय होत नाही, तर काय माझा फायदा इथं, and then I started getting a little bit of that feeling that I want to do something more productive. I want to do something which is at the end of the day हातात पैसे आले पाहिजे. ती फिलिंग यायला लागली की काम तर करतोय, पण ते असं काम वाटायला लागलं की काम करतोय आणि पगार नाहीये. So I started getting that feeling. So I started thinking parallelly. I started talking to my dad that, is there anything else I can look into? So he used to be like, yeah, मग hotel बघायचं, तिथलं business कसा वाढतो ते बघायचं. Come up with new ideas. You studied abroad. See what you can do to increase the business of the hotel. So everything was related to returns. That time brand building was not an Indian angle, like it was more of like off the sale counter, like off the counter sale ki aajcha dhanda kiti zala. That was the way Indians looked at business. It was not that it's a process that you market it, you build a brand, you create a brand loyalty, and then you expect people to come, and then it's a snowball effect.
That was not Indian market.
That was not Indian market situation. It was more of like sit on the counter, people should walk in, sale झाला पाहिजे, profit सुटलं पाहिजे, त्याला धंदा म्हणतात.
Okay.
So the work was only that take home money. Then you feel like you're successfully doing something. So I said, okay, fine. And then I started getting a little bit of a feeling that, okay, since I've worked abroad in so many F&B restaurants, we are also into hotels. I think I wanted to start my own restaurant. That was the whole idea that, okay, okay, I'll do this family business 9 to 5, but in the evening I'll have one place of mine where I can go and, hit the point like the Indian style of doing the business and taking home money. So I said, I'll open a counter like that, which was an F&B, where I'll open a restaurant of my own. I'll work there also. I'll do it my way, which I've learned in the UK. The new ideas that I probably saw that might work in India. Ashi concept, Tashi concept. Everything earlier was more traditional. So I said, I'll do something of my own. So I said, now what to do? And all these things started happening. So basically, I think when I started talking to my dad, even he didn't have that kind of confidence in me that, okay, theek hai kya paise, start your own place. So I had to even think of that angle that I need to raise funds because dad is not so confident, and I don't want it to be an additional burden on him because his intentions for me were different. He wanted me to do something else. He never wanted me to do what I'm doing today or, all these kind of things. So then I should talk to people, I was meeting people, when did you come back? How was UK? हे ते त्यात विषय नाही काय, जाता काय करणार? पुढं काय? झालं सगळं, पैसे खर्च केले, फॉरेनला जाऊन आला, पुढं काय? The only two questions people asked at that point was लग्न कधी करणार आणि पुढं काय काम करणार? So I was tired of answering those questions, but I used to talk to people. I used to tell them that I want to do this, I want to do that. So one of my dad's friends who was like, his age was between me and my dad, so he commonly connected with both of us. So I used to tell him anything openly, that I have this plan, I have that plan, I want to do something like this, we can open a restaurant in Pune and do this and do that. So he kind of got interested. He said, okay, fine, if you want to do something, I'll do it with you.
That is how you started with the current businesses which you built.
Yeah, so he said, I'll do it with you. So I spoke to my dad. My dad was like, okay, theek hai, if it's him, you both are ready to do it, it is not going to affect your involvement in family business, do it. So he thought, because two people are doing it together, then काम वाटून राहील, सगळं वाटून राहील. So you're not going to be stuck in that thing that you want to do out of passion. So I said, okay, fine. And then things went on.
So your passion was to build up businesses at that time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you were looked up to as a successful person only if you made money.
Okay.
Talent was not counted. Your what you say, your good talents of, if you had the capacity to do great marketing was not counted. You could build a brand was not counted. काय करणार? पैसे नाही मिळाले तर ब्रँडचं काय करणार? So that was the whole thing. These were the whole questions that I was dealing with when I used to talk to these traditionally done people who have done traditional businesses. की फक्त नाव नाही कमवायचं आपल्याला, पैसे मिळाले पाहिजे, त्याला धंदा म्हणतात. So I said, okay, fine, and then I could not put my ideas into words to all these kind of people. True. How the money will come in. Every time I spoke to somebody that, okay, I wanted to open a restaurant, they thought that I want to open something like a Vaishali or something like that. These restaurants असायचे ना, किंवा any typical restaurant. Nobody knew nightlife can be such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I've seen, like I said, I worked in a pizza place to a restaurant to a bar. And I've seen the numbers. I've seen when I worked in a pizza place, which was a very good restaurant, how much money it collected at the end of the day. Vis-a-vis a nightclub or a bar, how much money it collected. It was crazy. 3 times, 4 times, whatever, So I said, obviously, like, it's a new age business. Before that, at some point in India, it was always like permit room. Or a bar.
Yeah, Prasad sir, I told me. Yeah.
It's like that, where it was not considered as entertainment. It was not considered as celebration. Drinking alcohol was considered as a vesan.
Okay.
It was not
something to celebrate, or like there was no culture of
celebration. There was no culture with alcohol.
Yeah.
Even if we say, corporate culture also came into Pune after 2010-11.
Okay.
So before that, it was typical offices, right? People had offices, त्यांचा staff party म्हटलं की परत कुठेतरी एक restaurant book केलं, सगळे जेवायला गेले. That was a staff party.
Okay.
But today you see the way corporate celebrate parties, right? So 200, 300, 400 people parties in big resorts, hotels, restaurants, banquets, everything with entertainment, alcohol, nightlife, everything is involved. So that evolution has happened, which I saw in the UK very early.
Okay, yeah.
So I said, people enjoy like this. This is a celebration.
Yeah.
So it was very hard for me to
for you.
tell people or convince my dad that, you can open a bar, so-called a bar, with entertainment, which can make money. And people like to do that. That was something that I said, I'll do it. And that's how I said we started looking for. So my partner then connected with my idea that yes, this has potential. Because like I said, the age gap between me and my dad is a lot. So he could not relate to what I was trying to explain. And he did. So we said, okay, fine, we'll work together. And that's how we started looking for properties and everything. We did go around everywhere. I always had, a vision of doing something grand. It was never to do something which is already there and all of these things. So we ended up landing up in this building
where we are sitting right now.
Came to this place and somebody said this floor is available. So we came, we saw the floor and it looked like a nice view and everything and stuff like that. So I said, we'll do something here. And then for a second, we just thought, let's see the rest of the places. So we ended up going on a terrace.
Okay.
And I said, boss, this is something else. We were there on the 12th floor. It had the view, it had everything and stuff like that. Yeah. But look at this terrace. So actually, when we came to this building, we came for the ground floor. We never came for the 12th floor of the terrace.
Okay.
We came for the ground floor.
Yeah.
And we said, let's see the building. So we came up.
Hmm.
And ground floor was not available, but I fell in love with the terrace.
Yeah.
I said,
Okay.
look at this. Imagine having something like this here.
Hmm.
Even for that matter, even my partner was in 2000. अरे तू येडा झालास काय? म्हणजे 12 मजल्यावर कोण येणार आहे?
Oh yeah, that was a valid question.
या
though.
वरती कोण येणार आहे?
Huh.
रेस्टॉरंट म्हणजे खाली रिटेल असतं. म्हणजे इट हॅज टू बी ऑन द ग्राउंड फ्लोअर गार्डन हे ते.
Yeah.
वरती कोण येणार आहे?
Hmm.
So I said, no, I think this will happen. We will bring people here. We'll create something where people want to come here and you should feel like you're partying in the sky.
Yeah.
You know, I said, this is something that we should do.
Huh.
Took me some time to show him some properties. We went to Bombay. Then we made a trip to London.
Oh.
We actually, went around. And then he got a little bit of confidence that these concepts work.
Yeah.
And we will be one of the first ones in the city to do something like this.
And that's how Penthouze came into
So
the
that's how
picture.
Penthouze came into the picture.
Yeah.
That okay, fine, let's come, let's do this. And then how to, brand this, what to do. I said, look, this can be your penthouse. Penthouse resonates with luxury, lifestyle. It's an aspirational value is there that, oh, it is my penthouse. I have a penthouse. I want to party in Penthouse.
Okay.
So I said, let's do that. And then that's how Penthouze started. It was my first project. The same owners had 2 floors. So we were asked to take both the floors. I said, now what to do on the second floor? So then we came up with another idea after talking to a few consultants, meeting people, seeing what's lacking in the city. We said, okay, let's do a great Italian restaurant. Italian food was picking up at that point a lot.
In 2000s?
In 2011 and 12.
Okay.
So we came up with this concept for Pesto-Pesto, which we said, okay, let's make one of the best Italian restaurants in the city. There were 2 other popular places, but they were vegetarian. So I said, this will be one of its kinds of the first Italian
Non-veg restaurant.
non-veg, full imported style meat and everything, that kind of a restaurant. So we came up with this idea and we executed them. And that's
Where
how.
were the funds coming from at this point?
So at this point, my partner was there. I had limited access to some funds. My partner invested with me. And we ran out of funds, actually, to be very honest, when we were asked to do 2 floors.
Okay.
Because the idea was only to do Penthouse. But then when it came as a technical glitch that we had to take 2 floors, we said, what do we do here? So that's why we ran out of the funds. My dad helped me take a loan through a private investor. That happened. We ran out of those funds also because we never estimated the cost.
Yeah.
Because it happened in phases. It happened one after the other. It was not like a plan. We kept dealing with things as and how it came. And we had no option to go back. I said, now we've gone ahead so much that how can we go back? So I said, now let's jump into it properly. म्हणजे पाण्यात उडी मारलीच आहे आता तर पोहायला तर लागणारच दुसरा ऑप्शनच नाहीये
चल फ्रीस्टाईल शिकू
सो जे जमल ते जमल नाव वी हॅव टू सर्वाइव्ह सो देन वी गॉट बँकिंग इन्वॉल्व्ड वी हॅड टू टेक सम लोन्स फ्रॉम द बँक आणि असं करत करत तो म्हणजे where we thought we'll invest 2 rupees, it went to 7 rupees, 8 rupees.
Okay.
3 times the investment went up and we had to get funding sourced from banks and everything. That happened. Places launched. Started getting a response. In the whole process, while I was building this thing, I should talk to people. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I was thoroughly criticized for the same things. That
Why
what the hell
were
are
you
you
criticized?
thinking? 12 मजल्यावर कोण येणार एवढी मोठी जागा कोण करतं का तुला कळतं का तू काय करतोय आय वॉज क्रिटिसाइज्ड विथ पीपल हू डिडंट न्यू मी सेइंग दॅट बापाचा पैसा ओढवतोय दे डिडंट इवन नो वेअर द मनी केम फ्रॉम बट पीपल थॉट हा पैसे आहेत म्हणून काही करतोय अक्कल नाहीये हे नाहीये बाकीचे येडे आहेत का ग्राउंड फ्लोअरवर करून चालवत आहेत आणि ते पण म्हणजे स्ट्रगल आहे
And today what happens, like people come the other day, they are asking me अच्छा living room च्या वरती का okay.
So now rest is 10 years of history. Now I think I'm happy the way it's come along, but it's been a hell of a lot journey. Nothing is easy. Things went on, things started moving on, competition happened.
What was the competition of?
Competitors were there. So that phase, then Pune started changing its face. Corporates started moving in, 5-star started popping in. Brands from Bombay started coming in. Big malls started happening in Pune. So this is all the phase where Phoenix happened at the same time, Amanora happened, Magarpatta happened.
And JW
Before that,
Metro also
imagine,
happened?
before that, there was nothing of this.
Okay.
There was nothing. It was a different Pune. And now it's a different Pune. Like, where did Phoenix... So before, if we say there was no Phoenix, there was no Amanora, there was no Magarpatta, or there was no Pavilion Mall. Where do you think people were shopping?
DMart.
DMart was also not there. Where do you think people were shopping?
Grahak Pet, I guess, probably.
Lakshmi Road, Camp.
Oh, okay.
MG Road was the mall. Lakshmi Road was the mall.
Okay.
You know, where were people going and dining and eating? Jangli Maharaj Road was the hub. FC Road was the hub.
The food
Korega
hub.
Park was a little bit of a hub. But not 5 stars, not malls. There was only two 5 stars, I think I remember at that point. Blue Diamond Taj and Sun and Sand.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Holiday Inn turned Sun and Sand. After that, these 5 stars on Nagar Road started coming up. JW Marriott came up. Your Westin came up. Oakwood came up. ये सगळा तो era होता. So we were scared at the same time that we've invested so much, thinking we'll be one of its kinds. But competition started popping up, left, right, center around us. So we had to be on our toes. We had to keep conceptualizing new ideas. We had to keep people were getting, excited about everything that we were doing, and it was a great response. But at the same time, we at the back end were shooting bricks. की चुकायचा स्कोप नाहीये, पैसे लागलेले आहेत, खर्च चालू आहे, पगार द्यायचा आहे. We have to forget that there is competition. We have to still feel that within ourselves that we are the best, and we have to make sure everything works out that way. So show was going on, competition started. Eventually, I can't say I'm the best. So, there was tight competition from other brands. And stress started happening with business because it was such a big place. Pesto had limited capacity of doing business. Penthouze was always doing well, but it started taking a toll on a little bit of, the money that we had to return from the funds that we had borrowed. That started creating a little bit of drift between me and my partners that, अरे नसतं केलं पाहिजे, बरं झालं असतं, and this and that. And I was the front end of the business. I did not have scope to have any negativity going inside me that I've done something wrong. There might have been things that I've done could have done in a different way, but I could not tell myself that it's wrong. I didn't want to get into that space. I didn't want to believe that I've done something wrong, because if the minute I would have believed that I've done something wrong, I would have started giving up.
In that way.
Yeah. So I had to put it across to him that, boss, if it's not working out for you, then let's part ways.
Okay.
But the show must go on. We've come way ahead, and now there's no going back. The going back is only about shutting shops and accepting the loss, which I don't have a capacity to do, because this is the whole and soul thing that I'm doing. You must be having multiple businesses. So we have to take a mutual decision whether you want to continue, you take it ahead, I'll do something else, or I'll take it ahead and you do something else. We concluded on the fact that, okay, he said it's not my cup of tea. You're running the show, you're into this industry, you're doing everything, you take it ahead, I'll exit. So at that point, again, I had to raise some extra funds to give him an exit.
Okay, yeah.
By then, luckily, there was some reputation that I had created in the market of my own brand, of myself, and not my father's backing or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Make
again,
it
obviously,
clear, that
everything.
was not your father's backing.
But no, I can't say that, because, the credibility was still him.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the day, even if I got the funds, it was obviously because at the end of the day, something goes wrong. My dad is there. That's based on those bases only I got investments.
Yeah, okay.
It was not that only me, but it was not like a blind card also for them.
Yeah.
They've seen the product, they've seen the success, they've seen everything. So people funded. And we re-established the whole thing. When there was a glitch in Pesto with the limitations, then we converted and we started a new brand called Coco Sushi and Bar there.
Okay.
That's how Coco happened. Nightlife had become something that people used to relate me to. That, okay, Kunal's parties are very good parties. He comes up with all new ideas and everything.
Yeah.
So we created a Coco as a new brand to elevate the nightlife experience even more from what we had done with Penthouze. Made it more luxurious, made it more intimate. We started this concept of membership, more exclusivity. So these ideas came coming up. But then these ideas kept coming up because there was fire under me, that there is no
There was
scope
something
of
driving you. What
Yeah.
was driving you? What was driving you?
the pressure. The pressure of that it has to work, it has to be successful. I have liabilities, I have loans, I have to pay them. That is the pressure. I cannot, this was all my plan, my idea, with a lot of terms and conditions from my family. So I could not go back to them and say that I failed, now you handle the problem.
What
know,
was yeah, got it. But what was the three things? Pesto, Coco, Sushi Bar, and Penthouse. Except for that,
so now what happened is, in this journey, when me and my partner were parting, it took us 6-8 months to decide. And at that time, anything could have happened. It could have happened that, okay, he could have taken over and I could have exited.
yeah.
So I had started creating a backup plan parallelly. So I said, what the backup plan should be, as I started this whole new brand called Rasta Cafe
Okay.
within one of the properties that I owned, as in my family owned. So I said, okay, fine, here I have the comfort of starting something. If this doesn't work out, I'll do something here. At least this is there with me. I will not be out of the industry. I've come all the way here. I've created some reputation in the market with this business that I do. I have so many people associated with me. There was so much of staff with me. There was such a great team that I was working with.
Yeah.
So I was confident with all of that I have these resources. So I said, I will not let this go down. So I said, fair enough. If it didn't work out in a grander way, it'll work out in a smaller way. But at least I will do what I like to do.
True.
So I said, I'll start Rasta Cafe. So Rasta Cafe started. In the same process, we were discussing about what needs to be done with Penthouze and Pesto-Pesto. But Rasta started picking up really well. There were some core people that I was working with. They said, okay, fine, sir, we'll work with you only. So if this is not happening, take us to Rasta. They contributed a lot to Rasta to, become what it is today. And Rasta Cafe मध्ये exactly opposite केलं. म्हटलं ठीक आहे. Penthouse was a big show, glamorous, all of these things. So let's make something simple now. Let's make something which is a new age bar where people casually come to drink. Again, the thought process was the same thing, that drinking and socializing is not bad. It's not a taboo. So let's break that taboo. Pune started becoming a younger city with this whole corporates and IT and everything. Colleges started popping up. So let's give them a comfortable space to drink. If you don't want to party, but you still want to drink, doesn't mean you have to go to a permit room.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
There can be these casual bars where you can still go and chill. And Rasta as a concept came up. We started our first outlet. In the meantime, this got sorted.
Penthouse got sorted. Yeah.
I took a decision that I'm taking over the whole thing. So by then I was in full force. Then I had Penthouse, I had Coco to level up, I had Rasta, I had a great team. Everything is there. Then I was in full power, jumped into this whole thing that now there is no looking back. Now it is just about जेवढं वाईट व्हायचं होतं झालं. 1 वर्ष वर खाली, अप डाऊन, लॉसेस, पार्टनरशिप, नो पार्टनरशिप, हे ते सगळं म्हणलं आता सगळं झालंय. आता ह्याला जोरात ओढायचं.
आता विषय करायचा.
आता जे अँगलमध्ये जायचं तिथं जायचं. जे कुठं कशाला नाही म्हणायचं नाही. I learned a lot of things that, okay, I got criticized that restaurant terraceवर चालणार नाही. केलं, चालवलं, चालतंय, सक्सेसफुल आहे.
Yeah.
When I started my first Rasta as a bar, it is in Rasta Pit.
Yeah.
So तिकडं कधी चालायचं बार, ते पण चाललं. People from Korega Park and FC Road and Aund and Banir used to come to camp in Rasta Pit. I said, if I can...
They do, right? I guess so.
Sorry?
Even today they do, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I said, if I can pull people here. I said, now I was on a different level of confidence that मी 12 मजला पण करतो, खाली पण करतो, मी बेसमेंट मध्ये पण करणार, मी डोंगरावर पण करणार, लोकांना आणणार तिकडं. I will create this space where people would want to come.
You will create an inbound.
Then, like I said, the journey started.
So just two things over here. How did you approach the problem before, and how do you approach your problem now? What did you learn there?
So, like I said earlier, basically the whole problem facing attitude is linked to your self-confidence and self-belief, is what I feel. Like I said earlier, when I was setting up my businesses, I always felt dependent on other people. And okay, because I have an investor, because I have a partner, because I have, these things, that's why I'm able to do these things and stuff like that. But today I feel that, if that self-confidence is there, I can attract all these things to me. Now, my self-belief is my superpower. My self-confidence is my superpower, that if I believe in a product, I can make others also believe in it.
Yeah, okay.
And people would love to work with me. And any problem it is that you have to face, if I know I can solve it, there will be support and help from everyone to resolve this matter. You don't have to every time think that it's your problem and how to fight it alone. You don't have to.
True.
You should always ask. You should always take help, and there's nothing wrong in it. And that is where I've started dealing with problems in a very practical way. You don't have to feel shy about a problem. Your ups and downs has to be the same. Your mentality, your attitude, your thought process needs to be the same when you're at the peak and when you're at the lowest in your life. Because the only balancing part is the confidence that you have in yourself. If you break your confidence, you're over. And you can't do anything.
Yeah. If you lost your belief, you can't do anything.
You can't do anything. So that is something that became stronger and stronger for me over so many years of businesses that I've done. So like I said, I don't say that I'm a successful entrepreneur, but I can say that I can do things successfully.
All
You
right.
know,
So what kind of a businessman are you?
I don't, I can't say there's a kind, but I would say I'm a very practical businessman. I think I can say I'm an ethical businessman. When you do things with a lot of love and good intentions, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I
Like,
truly believe in it.
there is a very minor glitch, where just that the industry collapses or, the trend changes. But like I said, when you're doing things with good intentions and so much of, love put into that thing, I don't think you can go wrong in it.
Okay.
So I think that is the whole thought process that I believe in working. So any business, at the end of the day, whoever is doing, entrepreneur does not come with a degree.
Yeah.
A engineer can come with a degree, a doctor can come with a degree, a scientist can come, a lawyer can come with a degree, but entrepreneur can't come with a degree. So I can also, without having a law degree, can have a law firm as an entrepreneur, having 10 lawyers working for me. I can start a hospital without being an MBBS, but have 10 doctors work for me.
Okay. One thing. See, now you are not on the ground. You're not a chef.
Yeah.
You're not a manager.
Yeah.
You're not a waiter.
Yeah.
Or you have been into those, but you're not anywhere on the ground.
So I'm telling you, it is how I manage is I believe this, that I'm not a chef. I believe that I'm not. I don't try also to be a chef.
Yeah.
I don't try to be a bartender. I don't try to be a restaurant manager. I don't try. I am an entrepreneur, and my job is to put the experts together to do something.
Yeah. Jack Ma says the same thing.
When I put the experts to do something, and when I say they are the experts, then I don't interfere into their job. Then I let them do their job.
Yeah. Please say it loudly.
So basically, when I say that I'm not on the floor, it's for the same reason. That is their job. Who am I to go and tell them to don't do it this way and don't do it that way? Yes, we have our meetings for suggestions. Everyone's open for suggestions.
Yeah.
But like I said, why my restaurants work without me is because my job is to put these guys together and give them the support system to do what they are good at doing. And that is what works for me always. So like I said, now when you say what kind of a businessman am I can do any business under the sky by just getting the right people together who believe in me because I believe in myself, to do something for me or to form a company that can do XYZ kind of a business.
So it's like you are the businessman who believes in himself.
So I just, as an entrepreneur, you should just be an anchor to your business.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when you bring these people together, when you form a conglomerate of so many skills, you should be the anchor because you're the one who's created that thread network between all these people, and this is why you have a platform to stand on. So that is what I think an entrepreneur should be like. All you need to do is be so confident enough and have such great intentions to do any business. All the resources will come to you. Then whether it's the funds, whether it's the licensing, whether it's the skilled staff, it's the labor, it's the anything and everything. And that is, I think, what a message I would give to anybody who is aspiring to be an entrepreneur. To basically just have your idea in place, believe in it, and work on it to attract the like-minded people to work for you.
So until now you have worked in this industry for so many years. What are the insights you have? What are the hacks you have to share? Some from hospitality industry, to be more specific.
Hospitality industry, look, at the end of the day, hospitality industry is divided into so many segments today. It was not earlier, but now when you say hospitality, it is as good as a vada pav cart on the road, to home deliveries, to banquets, to restaurants, to nightclubs, to bars,
To clubs.
to
cafes.
to everything. So it's such a diversified, even catering for that matter, to corporates and everything.
Yeah.
So when I say, I am a bar or a restaurateur, but at the same time, I also think like a caterer. I also think like I'm, like a street food vendor. Because at the end of the day, he also has a customer who's consuming his food, and an IT catering guy also has somebody who's consuming the food.
Yeah.
So the thought process is the same. There are only 2 or 3 things that it can be. It is either you eat food for necessity. Second is you eat food because you want to try different dishes and experience and everything. And third is because it's either you're invited or a celebration or whatever it is. So when I build a property, even if I'm selling a sushi or even if I'm selling a burger, my competition is always the guy who even is selling a vada pav, because he's also a person who's eating something by paying some money,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can always convert anybody from any field. When I say I'm a Penthouze, I don't say my competition is only with any other club in the city. My competition is again with anybody who is selling a similar product in any form,
Giving the same feeling, I guess, probably. Entertainment recreation.
Not a feeling, right? I mean, like I said, it's two different things. A guy like a McDonald's and a Pizza Hut are two different products for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, they're competition to each other.
Yeah.
Because the customer has 500 rupees. Now, either he'll spend it on a pizza or he'll spend it on a burger.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So, you have to make sure that the customer always wants to eat the burger.
Yeah. Okay.
Convert his 500 rupees into your outlet. So that is what I look at. That any person who has 1,000 rupees in his pocket is my customer. I'll convert him and then apply those skills to convince him that, boss, a pizza is better than the burger. Or
It will fill you
yeah.
than a burger. Yeah.
Or Indian food is better than the Chinese food, or whatever your business is. Then that is your marketing skills, that is your belief, that is your package that you offer. That okay, you come to my place, I'll give you entertainment also, we have a DJ also, we have this also, we have that also. So these are the things basically, like it's very restaurant business cannot be explained in any form, not in writing, not in words. It is only experience. It is only experience. If you stand on a restaurant floor and if your ecosystem comes to you to talk to, then you'll actually know what is, a restaurant
what
business.
can be done,
Imagine you see a restaurant, you see it's so nicely done up. The interiors are amazing. There's alcohol, there's bartenders, there's, like waiters, uniforms are nice, services are top notch and everything. And one day your chef leaves the job. Your restaurant is useless.
Oh, yeah.
Everything collapses.
I remember you and I, when we were talking before this, you had said it's easy to enter into this business, very hard to sustain.
So this kind of a thing, this pressure that you're going to have all of a sudden, where you open the restaurant and you have 30 people sitting in a restaurant, but the chef is only not come.
Yeah.
Or the kitchen is only not functioning today. Or lights only go off. That pressure is only like felt when you're on the floor there. The solution can come to you fast only when you're on the floor there.
Or you have been on the floor.
Or you have been on the floor. I can't tell you on the mic right now that, hey, asa झालं तर असं केलं पाहिजे. There can be 100 new problems every day in a restaurant. 100 new problems. I'm not saying same problems again. I'm saying new problems every day.
So same problems are not gonna come because you have already sorted.
No, there are repeats. But I'm just saying, like, you don't know what a new problem can be today. It could be anything. It could be randomly just somebody ate something which he's not supposed to and felt and bad stomach. What are you going to do? Now that person can put any angle to it. It could be a religious angle to it कि यार मैं वेज था तुमने नॉन वेज खिला दिया मेरे को. मेरे को इसका एलर्जी फिर भी डाल दिया तुमने. How are you going to face? So that problem is not going to be only a medical problem. How are you going to say that, boss, तुमने मेरा religion भ्रष्ट कर दिया? Now how are you going to solve this problem?
Tell, how are you going to solve this problem?
If that situation happens and I have that pressure under me, I will solve that problem.
Okay.
So that is what it is, Okay. So it's a great industry because it looks very glamorous from outside.
But
I don't
it takes
think it is.
same kind of efforts to maintain
So
it.
I have consulted a lot of restaurants,
Uh,
and I've had a lot of friends and families and
hmm,
people walking up to me that even I want to open a restaurant,
hmm,
and I've only given them one suggestion that open it or get into this business only if there's a purpose or a passion,
hmm,
not just because you have the money and not just because you have a vision and not just because you have an idea,
hmm, hmm,
because that's not enough
hmm.
to
I
this is not like a supermarket kind of a thing that you buy 1,000 things, you stack it on your shelf,
hmm,
and you open the shutter and people walk in and take and walk out. This is an industry where
you
all
are
the industries are incorporated in
yeah.
this.
Also, you are as good as your last customer. Like I have
Yeah,
learned this.
100%. And also, like I said, it's a conglomerate of all the industries.
Hmm,
Now, basically, when you buy things,
hmm,
your sales and purchase and logistics is involved.
hmm,
Then your kitchen is your manufacturing industry.
hmm, hmm,
Your floor is your service industry.
hmm, hmm,
Your reception is a customer service industry.
hmm.
Your bar is an alcohol industry where there's excise, government involved, taxes involved, permissions involved, legalities involved, and everything,
Yeah.
licensing, and all of these things.
Hmm,
Your staff is required. So much of staff is needed in your F&B business
hmm,
that HR
hmm.
comes into picture.
Yeah.
Manpower agency comes into picture.
Hmm,
That's another industry.
hmm,
So there are so many things put together. You're practically like buying something from scratch, converting into a new product and putting it on the table with serving it with hospitality, and
hmm,
eventually
hmm,
then taking money home and then paying everybody else in that hierarchy
hmm.
to earn that 5 or 10% that you save on.
Yeah.
That also, if you're lucky enough to do it
Get
in the
those
right
5 to
way. Yeah.
10%. Yeah. So you said you are like a practical kind of a person, and also I have researched your Instagram, or let's just talk to your Instagram. I did love the quotes which you had. So one of those quotes was, "True power of inspiration is to bring people together." So like, let's talk about the people you have met. So who are the interesting people you have met, or what are the interesting clients you have
Oh,
met?
I've
Let's talk about
met
people first. Yeah.
so many. Because this industry, one of the biggest factors, you meet people.
Hmm.
I meet like so many people every day, and into like so many days and into so many months and into so many years.
Hmm. Hmm.
I can't count how many new people I've met in my life.
Some prominent ones which you remember.
So I've been lucky enough, like say when you say the word prominent, I've had
Some memorable ones.
chances to meet great Bollywood actors who've walked into my restaurants. We've done events with them. We've
Hmm.
done all of these things. Then I've had some good,
Hmm.
inspiring politicians who've come and visited my restaurants and everything. So, like I said, this is the people's industry.
Hmm. Hmm.
Industry, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. True.
So this gives you a platform to meet so many interesting people.
Hmm.
Like I said, celebrities are there, chefs are there,
Here also. Once
politicians are
what
there.
happened? Once what happened?
Once what happened was basically pesto was a very new this thing, and that this once repeated also coincidentally.
Hmm.
Pesto is a very new restaurant
Hmm.
back in the time,
Hmm.
and we were still learning about Italian food. Restaurant
Okay.
had started.
Okay.
We were serving. We were trying to do what we were told to do through the consultants,
Hmm.
trying to deliver like the best of the food with good looking
Hmm.
dishes
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
etiquettes and all of these things, because it was a fine dine.
Hmm.
And it was just the second or the third month
Hmm.
where even the city did not know there's a restaurant like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
And one day we get a random call saying that we want to have a restaurant
Hmm.
completely booked in the
Oh,
afternoon today
Italian.
itself.
Italian.
Italian restaurant,
Okay.
the Pesto,
Yeah.
that we want the whole restaurant booked in
Hmm.
the afternoon.
Hmm.
Now we never had, we were a new restaurant, it was never busy,
Hmm.
and afternoons were least busy.
Yeah.
So we like, our whole restaurant wants to be booked. We used
Hmm.
to have less staff during
Hmm.
the day because obviously it should not be busy.
Hmm.
Kitchen was not completely equipped.
So you got this
You
call in the
know,
morning.
in the morning that we want, and rest of the details you will get.
Hmm.
So I said, how many people? What I need to do the preps and all. I said, we'll give you all the details like 1 hour before we come. So now I couldn't tell them that look, we are a new restaurant. हम लोग को कुछ नहीं आता. और कैसे करने का 1 घंटे में. So we were sitting. I said, okay, fine, we'll block the restaurant. It's a good opportunity. And they mentioned that there'll be some VIP guests.
Oh shit.
So I said, okay, fine. We didn't know what it is and stuff like that.
Hmm.
1 hour before, we get a call saying that Alia Bhatt, Varun Dhawan, and Siddharth Malhotra are in Pune to promote their movie Student of the Year.
Student of the year. Yeah.
And they want to come and eat in your restaurant because they've heard about this new place in Pune. So I was like, wow, So I said, how many people? They're like, there are only 3 people and 2-3 other people come. I said, then that way at least fine. But now I said, now I know why you said we want the whole restaurant booked.
Okay, yeah.
It's not because there were 100 people coming to eat.
Yeah.
There were these 4 people coming to meet, but it was an unofficial visit, so they didn't want public to be around. And that was such a crazy moment where a couple of factors that got the excitement of I'm going to meet the Bollywood stars for the first time and they're visiting my place. Second thing, they've heard and they found out about this place in such an early time of this third month of our operations that there is a place
for you, right?
There's a place called Pesto-Pesto and they want to go and visit that.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, fine, we are on the right track. Our name is out in the market to the right people.
Yeah.
That they
The
are
people
wanting
who
to
can come and spend.
They want to come and eat and everything. And then it was a great event. They came in the afternoon. I got an opportunity to socialize with them, chill with them, talk to them. Very interestingly, we had lunch together. They enjoyed it.
Great,
It was a very casual affair. And eventually, that was like one of the best experiences that I've had.
Some talks, like, उन्होंने क्या किस बारे में हुआ या फिर कुछ
No, I was not listening also what they were talking. Basically speaking, I was so overwhelmed. I was looking into the kitchen. I was seeing if everything was working on properly and everything. But like I said, even they were the one thing that I realized, even they were exactly like us, and we had a similar vibe we were sharing because for them also they were all 3 of them were making their first movie.
Oh yeah.
For me, this was my first restaurant.
Yeah.
They were beginners in their field.
Same boat,
Yeah, they were the beginners in their field. I was the beginner in my field.
Yeah.
So we got that respect from each other. Nobody was trying to be like, "Tere ko kuch nahi aata and mere ko kuch nahi aata" types. It was a good interaction with them. But why I said the same history repeated is because when this Pesto shut down, and like in 2017 we opened a new Pesto in Korega Park. 2017 or 18, I think 18. We opened a new version of Pesto, which is more like a cafe format and an all-day format with breakfast to dinner and stuff like that. Exactly in the second month, we got a call saying that what time does the restaurant shut? So we said 10 o'clock.
Right,
So he said, yeah, but can you keep it open for another half an hour for us? There's a VIP guest who wants to visit. I said, how many people? She said, only one person. We can't disclose the name.
Okay.
I said, okay, fine. Come, we'll keep it open for you. Just make sure like nobody is there. We're coming after you shut so that we will not disturb your business. I said, okay, fine. We are waiting. Me, my friend Ankush was there, who used to run that restaurant. Who's going to come exactly? We didn't know. And this one, Ananya Pandey turns up.
Okay, yeah.
And I said, wow, like if she's around in Korega Park and why to this new place? So she's like, I heard you guys serve the best hot chocolate and I just felt like having it. And I personally wanted to visit this place because, I like drinking hot chocolate when it's right out of the, like it's hot.
Yeah.
I could have called a takeaway, but I really wanted to visit this place and stuff like that. And I heard that you guys make the best hot chocolate.
Who are these people who are telling?
I don't know. I'm telling you. So I said, wow. So me, her, my friend sitting and talking. She's like, I'm doing my first movie, Student of the Year.
Two, right?
Yeah. And that's why we are here to shoot in Pune. And so basically they were shooting apparently in some college.
Yeah.
And that's where they got to know about this place.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said, what an irony. I was telling her, I said, when I started the same restaurant first time, the first Student of the Year shooting was happening. These 3 people came in. And she was also surprised that what an irony, like what a coincidence. And she came, and then it was just a great feeling that, both the restaurants, when it started, had a similar incident happening there.
Yeah, when they started.
When they started, initially.
And the people also were starting. Yeah.
So it was just a great thing. And it's a crazy coincidence that, Student of the Year, then Student of the Year, now. They were the first movie. She was doing her first movie. It was just an amazing feeling. But yeah, these are the kind of little things that happen in the journey. And there are rough sides also, obviously, when you're running.
But first tell me one thing. Like, do you have any experiences you feel very humble or something like that? Let's say incident of Ratan Tata, when these people were going into Germany and they ordered a lot of things and later on they were fined for that. Because like the people sitting besides them were like, तुम्ही काय एवढं मागवलं तुम्हाला खात नसेल तर मग ते म्हणतात आम्ही पैसे देतोय ना मग so that lady called an officer and that officer came in and I have read this story, I don't know if it's true, but it's very interesting. So it's like she's like ki I know that officer comes in and yeah, you're paying for that, but the resources which are used to make it is not only yours.
Yeah.
It's the whole countries and people are going for this.
Yeah.
This was told by a principal, like a country becomes great not because it is great, it's a people in there.
Yeah.
So do you have any such a kind of experiences which with any people, like which was really good, interesting, we learned from that, that was good, I saw.
Uh, yeah, a lot of times, to be very honest, like I've met so many people, where they are either the celebrities or big people or
Not celebrities
politicians
only, in general people
or,
as well.
like these kind of people. And we've had incidences. In fact, in Pesto itself,
Hmm.
basically, we had a booking, where not a booking exactly what we could say, where we were working with this friend of mine who has a social media agency and a PR agency,
Hmm.
where I said, okay, fine, since we are a new restaurant, this
Hmm.
was again an incident at the new Pesto,
Hmm.
where we said, okay, fine, let's do a PR activity, because we need to invite people, tell them to try the food,
Hmm.
give us the feedback and everything, because Pesto is launching after so long again.
Yeah.
So, we want that recall value of, like, what people still think about Pesto.
Hmm.
So let's do a round of invites and all of these things and stuff like that.
Hmm.
She's like, okay.
Hmm.
So she's like, okay, let me start with a guest list, which is from my end. Then you give me a guest list that we'll do.
Hmm.
And she's like, basically the idea is about getting the feedback for food, right?
Hmm.
So I said, yeah, okay,
Hmm.
let's do this.
Hmm.
So again, table's ready, the whole place is ready. We were given a list of 40 people who are going to turn up. This is the menu, this is everything.
Hmm.
And let's have a session.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, this friend walks in,
Hmm.
and she got almost about 30 to 35 kids who were blind and deaf
Oh,
to come and try the food.
okay.
And that was a crazy experience because these people got an opportunity. I mean, I was lucky to serve them that kind of food and everything, but honestly,
Hmm.
the best reviews for the food is what I heard from them, because they couldn't see the food,
Yeah.
they couldn't hear what we wanted to tell them. It was only about the taste,
Yeah.
that how the food tasted for them.
It was a great
And
idea.
that was the craziest feedback I've ever got,
Hmm.
that how good the food is, because they explained in their own way
Hmm.
of how they felt after the
Yeah.
eating the food, that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was not about the review ki taste aisa hai, salt aisa hai, sweetness aisa hai, and uske
Hmm.
बाद- they could only express in their feelings, they couldn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So their expressions, their body language, their happiness, their
Hmm.
everything is what gave us the feedback of how good the food was, and that was such a great feeling.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that was, I think, something that I felt, that
Hmm.
food should satisfy a soul and not
The
just a
the
tongue.
only
Yeah.
tongue. Yeah.
And I think that's something that I
Hmm.
eventually practiced every time after that.
Yeah. No, so one thing, when we were talking before, you had told you have like people working with you now who used to work for you once. So one among them is Prasad sir, we
Prasad,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just continue the story back then when we had like I have shown you the this thing introducing Kunal Mhaske the segment, and where he was like you had a talk, you clicked, and then you went off for a month.
Yeah, yeah.
So first tell that, and then we'll talk about the other people who you are working with you right now. Yeah.
No, so honestly, like I said, I mean, for me, when I want to do something,
Hmm.
I don't do it when it's needed. I
Hmm.
always plan things a little ahead of time.
Hmm.
So when I get
Hmm.
ideas, first I start looking for resources
Hmm.
of how I can execute this idea.
Hmm.
Like it is just about, start to put down on paper
Hmm.
that if I think that if I want to start this business,
Hmm.
who would be my team?
Hmm.
How would I build a right team?
Hmm.
What are the kind of people I need on this?
Hmm.
What are the skills that I need on this?
Hmm.
So I started meeting people, and that's how I met Prasad.
Hmm.
And I met Prasad. I found, certain things in him which I felt that it was something that I would
Hmm.
need, at some point.
Hmm.
But like I said, the idea itself was not ready, right?
Hmm. Okay.
So I didn't know where I'm going to start my business with, what I want to do. So
Hmm.
the idea was to expand at that point.
Hmm.
The idea was that, okay, I had these few brands which were doing really well.
Hmm.
This thought process came into my head that I want to expand,
Hmm.
and I want to have multiple outlets of the same brand,
Hmm.
which Pune had not seen back in the time.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So Rasta was one of its first restaurants which had two Rastas in the same city.
Okay. Hmm.
So I said, I want to make a chain of restaurants. How we see, like, McDonald's, all these
Hmm. Hmm.
other kind of things. So locally, that concept did not exist. That it's a local brand and they have 2-3 outlets, 4 outlets in the same city. Now it's been very common, but back in the time in 2016 it was very new.
Yeah.
So I needed somebody who could do the business development for me in this field. But I didn't know whether it was a franchisee. I didn't know whether I am going to invest and make another outlet. I didn't know if I was going to do a partner. I didn't know where the outlet was going to be. I didn't know what it was going to be. It was just an idea. So that's how I got in touch. I started meeting people. I met Prasad. And then I said, okay, fine. Now he's there. Now let me put down the idea. Ki kya karna hai exactly. So it took me about a month and a half to restructure the
You
whole
really
thing.
had lost your phone, tell me that.
So phone was something that I had to tell him because I didn't like, he would be like, मेरे को interview को आको बुलाया अगर तुम्हारे पास plan ही नहीं था तो. So I said, you know what, I'll get back to him when I have this thing, because
Things aligned probably, yeah.
at the same time I was also looking at other people also as a team, right? I had to have a team of chefs, I had to have a team of PR, management, everything and stuff like that. So I was working on a lot of things simultaneously until it came to a point where now I know I have to do it. And that was the time when I called him back. That I said, okay, now come and meet me.
Garden हो गया था उधर, yeah.
So I said, now come and meet me.
Yeah. So, like, along with that, who are the other people who used to work for you and you took for them? And you told me the reason as well. Like, how long are you gonna keep them for working? How are you gonna increase the salary?
No, so there are so many people in my ecosystem that have been, like, say, starting with as basic as my first 2 bouncers that I had in Penthouze back in the time when I opened Penthouze in 2012 have been with me since then. And they were so loyal to me, worked so hard. I started passing on responsibilities to them. I started telling them to take care of the entire housekeeping angle, to entire, social and security angle and everything and stuff like that. Until it came to a point that these guys became so smart at their work that they had more potential. And when I was expanding, I wanted people like them to do my other restaurants as well.
Yeah.
To provide security there, to provide housekeeping there and everything.
So they.
And that's where I helped them, or rather they also had the potential in them to start their own agency.
Security agency, right?
So one has a bouncers and valet agency, the other has a housekeeping agency.
Oh, great.
And these are the first 2 guys who were working for me as a housekeeping manager and as a bouncer. Now these guys have actually got one of the companies which is a monopoly in their own fields in Pune, in nightlife industry, who is practically giving bouncers and valet to more than 60 to 70% of the nightclubs in Pune.
Great, excellent. Yeah.
And so is with the housekeeping guys. He's evolved more into office spaces, corporates and everything and stuff like that. And that's one of the things. There has been instances with my store manager where he's handled my purchase. Then we expand. We open 2 restaurants, 3 restaurants, 4 restaurants. Where he's the same guy who's doing purchase for all these 4 restaurants. Then I said, okay, fine. You know what? These 10 items we need in all our restaurants. You're buying it from XYZ people. Obviously, it's a margin, that is going to them. All the work is done by you. There is that research and development is over. These 10 items are not going to change. I said, why don't you start supply of those 10 items?
Yeah.
These are branded products. So for me, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. If it's an Amul butter or a certain branded cheese or a milk, it doesn't matter if you sell it to me or somebody else sells it to me. So this 10% will go to you. As I start an agency and be my vendor.
Yeah.
And that's how he is today. My both the jobs are done. My quality check is done.
Yeah.
Because he's the same guy who worked for me. Loyalty is there.
Yeah.
Your requirements are put on. He's not gonna dump stuff to me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that way it worked out really well for me, that now my outlets are taking care of the right person, supplying me the right products at the right price and the right quality. That worked out for me really well. One of my first oldest managers is today a partner with me in one of my restaurants. Prasad was one of the similar cases. Ankush is there, who's also
you
around.
People are starting Jimmy's right now.
Yeah. So eventually how I've completely gone on the floor right now is to give my managers a sense of ownership and profit sharing in my restaurants and making them the face and the owner of the outlets. And that's how I've managed to move out of the ground
Okay.
And so I can now focus into my other activities like my fitness, my other businesses, my other activities, my athletics, and all of these things.
Yeah.
But it has been a journey for 10 years to come to a point where,
Where you are now.
yeah.
But where you are now, what do you think of true friendships now?
What do I think of true friendships? I actually don't believe too much into friendship as a term. It's just a relationship that is given a tag as friendship. What is friendship? How do you define friendship? How do you define friendship? I'm asking a
That
question.
depends from person to person.
Which means then it is matlab wala.
No,
Then how
not
do you define?
exactly like that.
That's what you said, no?
Actually it depends on the condition. If someone who is
So
with,
then it
as
is
you said,
conditional, no?
no.
Then what
Condition
it-
yani a scenario. If someone is with me since when I started, so it's like I would say it's a very close friendship.
No, but I'm asking you if it's a friendship, when you call somebody your best friend,
No, I don't do
on
that.
on what basis? On what basis does that person become a best friend?
Yeah.
So for
Various
me, I
things.
don't believe in these tags on relationships. Basically, I've met so many people and honestly believe in uh, connections over relationships. I call it a connection, and that connection can be based on 100
Anything.
factors. So I think I'm like friends with everyone in the city, yet I don't have friends.
I understand
That is my situation, like,
Yeah.
to be very honest. Like, and then like there has been ups and downs, like I
Every
said.
connection or every relation
Yeah,
has
so
ups and downs.
that things, maybe from your side there was no intention, from their side there is an intention, and it takes a lot of time to filter these things. So I work on a very close net circuit, that I share my really personal things to, or my day-to-day activities. Like, people probably know me in their own ways. They don't know me as yet. They know me in their own convenience. There are people who only know me that this guy is only into fitness.
Okay, yeah.
There are people who think that नहीं, ये होटल है, रेस्टोरेंट है, नाइट क्लब है, इसकी ये रात भर पार्टी करता है. There are people who know me as an entrepreneur only, and there are people who know me as just a nice person. So they are their own ways of looking at things. And for me, I am the way I am to everyone. This is I am. There is nothing, there's no filter. I'm very transparent, I'm very open. I love being open, because how many things am I going to manipulate in my life? I don't like that kind of life, to try and put up a picture
No,
that this
that's
is I
like, that
am.
gets after a point very exhausting.
Yeah, it is, and you can't sustain that, and why would you even want to do it? Because it's just an unwanted thing in your, it's an additional burden in your life that you're carrying. So I don't believe in that anyway. And that's how I have my close 3 or 4 people that know everything about me through and through transparently. These are the people I hang out with, these are the people I travel with, these are the people I go out dining with, these are the people I do my day-to-day things with, and rest are all my friends.
Okay. Very smart way to put it.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
So you have been in UK where you were sitting ideal and you were like काहीतरी करायचं. So similar kind of तसं आलं असेल कोविडच्या वेळेला. So how has COVID impacted you professionally, personally?
I think in one line I would say COVID was a blessing, to be very honest.
Okay.
Because like I said, since I started school, to college, to London, to back to Pune, to working and everything, so many years in my life at least, I never got a holiday like this.
Okay.
Why I say a holiday is, by default everything was shut, right?
Yeah.
Everything was shut. Even if you wanted to do things, you couldn't do it.
Can't do. Yeah.
So initially, it was like, it was like a crazy graph. So it started with a whole excitement of what the hell is happening in the world.
Okay.
That we were asked to sit at home all of a sudden. हे कर्फ्यूज हे ते आपण म्हणजे पिक्चरमध्ये बघितलं असेल किंवा कधीतरी ऐकलं असेल.
144.
So all of a sudden you have to sit at home.
Yeah.
मग enjoy those 2-3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week. अजून एक आठवडा एक्सटेंड, दुसरा वीक. मग यायला लागलं टेन्शन की अरे घरी बसायला लागलं, मग काम धंद्याचं काय व्हायचं?
Okay.
लोक फोन करतायत, पैसे पाहिजेत, पगार करायचे, कुठून करणार? Staff is calling. By then I had, I think, a full strength of about 240 people working for me.
Overall, all businesses?
Yeah, just before COVID we shut, we had 11 restaurants, including my franchisees.
Yeah.
So I said, now it is getting a little stressful because the month is lapsing. rentals were being called for because even they didn't know what is happening. Nobody knew what is happening. So people were doing their job. फोन यायला लागले, अरे भाडं पाठव. धंदा बंद आहे, भाडं कुठून पाठवणार? You can't say no, but I'm thinking to myself. Then staff is calling, sir क्या करे, घर से बाहर नहीं निकल सकते, खाने के प्रॉब्लम है, ये है वो है, कैसे कर सकते हैं? So there were millions of questions all of a sudden in the second, third week. And boss, this is now getting panicky. What do we do? I had to get on the floor. I had to do something about it. If they had to go back home, I had to send them back home. If they had to, then it became serious, right? Then pandemic came into the picture. That there is something which is a life-threatening situation. So people started getting scared. Now it became like कि जान बचानी है. We were hearing stories. People are dying left, right, center. People are getting admitted. Bills are coming 10-10 lakh रुपए COVID के. So everyone was in a situation कि मेरे को कोविड हो गया तो 10 लाख किधर से लेके आने का, मेरे को कोविड हो गया मैं मर गया तो मेरे फैमिली का क्या होगा. All these things. So it was a crazy situation, like how everyone has gone through their own problems and similar things. So I had to get deep down into like, how do I sustain this? For how long do I sustain this? What can I do about it? So I started like, pulling out money from my savings, businesses, trying to solve one problem at a time, trying to talk to my landlord saying that, okay, let me restart and then we'll pay everything in lump sum. Staff la, पाठव पैसे, हे करा, ते करा, घरी जायचे. Try to arrange my own logistics, my own cars. If I could send them, I've sent them. They could go, they've gone. I've given them money. All of this happened. Came to a point where it started becoming a problem to myself also. That now...
It was personal now?
Yeah, like now there's no money also to put in.
Okay.
I said, and my numbers were big. Sustaining 11 restaurants is not a small number. So I said, आता काय हे संपताना तर दिसत नाहीये. It is constantly extending. I can't keep paying and surviving till one day it opens. So I have to start taking calls now. Then I started talking to my associates, my franchisee guys. That was now you all have to start taking your share of problem and dealing with it. Let's divide the problem into a couple of things and let's face it. Because we started hearing stories, this is shutting down, that is happening, हे होतंय, ते होतंय, असं होतंय. तर ते पॅन्डेमिकचा प्रॉब्लेम एक सगळ्याला राहिला आणि आपला बिझनेस आणि आपल्या सर्वाइवलचा एक प्रॉब्लेम राहिला. So that holiday all of a sudden become like a stressful thing, sitting at home and wanting to or have to do so many things but can't do anything also at the same time.
True. Yeah.
That dilemma was crazy. की काय करायचं, कसं करायचं.
How did you deal with it?
So how much ever financially we could, we did. How much ever help we could give, we gave. How much ever connections I could use, I used. Came to a point where luckily we managed to settle down at least the business angle that let's put it to rest. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it. बंद पडलं तर बंद पडलं, आता काय करणार. परत नाही चालू झालं तर नाही चालू झालं, आता काय करणार. That mindset came in. I said, let's now put myself into a situation where I'm back into the first phase that I've taken a loan of X amount and I've started a restaurant and it's not doing well. Let's put us into that situation. काय करायचं आता. So acceptance came into picture that accept it. This is what it is. ते केलं, सगळं केलं. रियालिटी चेक आला की हा वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लेम झालेला आहे. हा माझा वैयक्तिक प्रॉब्लेम नाही आहे. हा माझ्या सिटीचा प्रॉब्लेम नाही, माझ्या देशाचा प्रॉब्लेम नाही, अख्ख्या जगाचा प्रॉब्लेम झाला आहे. So acceptance came into the picture, calmed myself down that let's not panic. We'll figure out if this has happened, there'll be ways to come out of it also. Then I put myself into rest. People also understood that, it is not your fault, it's not your fault. My landlord used to call and shout, मला काय घेणं देणे, मला माझी भाडं पाहिजे. He also came to a rest that आता 1 महिन्याचं केलं, 2 महिन्याचं केलं, 3 महिन्याचं केलं, 4था महिन्यात कुठून भाडं देणार बंद असताना.
बरोबर आहे.
So a lot of things happened, things rested. Then I went to a phase where, okay, fine, let's forget about it.
बघू काय होतं.
डोकं शांत राहून द्या. In that thing, I said, there's so much of negativity. I said, let's try and get positivity in whatever is there available. I said, okay, fine, I have a house. I was fortunate that I had open space. We could relax, we could chill. That was a time when everyone was at home, so it was a very different time for the entire family to bond together. We never got a chance. Like I said, I've been hustling throughout.
Yeah.
Never taken a holiday more than a week or 10 days. All of a sudden, it's 3 months, you're sitting at home with the same people. So different conversations started happening. People started understanding each other even more. Feelings started coming out. की स्ट्रेस कसा असतो, काय असतो, दुसऱ्याचा स्ट्रेस कसा असतो, फक्त चिडचिड करून फायदा नाही. So all of these are things, and it worked out in such a way that it calmed me down as a complete, as a person. Ki now I said every time there is a stress or a problem, we don't need to hustle or panic. Every problem can be resolved calmly. That is the most important thing that I realized in pandemic, that understand a situation that you are locked in a position where you have only limited things to do. So focus on those limited things and see how you can get out with it. So pandemic calmed me down completely. I got so relaxed. Like I said, stretched down to 6 months. It was the first time I've probably sat idle for 6 months. No studies, no work, no nothing, no किती वाजता उठायचं ते किती वाजता झोपायचं. It didn't matter, right?
Yeah.
If you're sitting in one house, तू किती वाजताही उठ ना, किती वाजताही झोप, कधी झोप, काही कर, रात्री 4 वाजेपर्यंत जागा राहा किंवा 4 वाजता उठ. So you could just do anything in those 24 hours. Then I got into, stepping out of the house a little bit in odd hours, which was like early morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I said there is no time factors for anything. So I said, let me see sunrise every day. How many people actually see sunrise in this entire
Very few
population?
percent, I would say.
You can't even imagine. It won't even be few percent. I mean, I'm saying by default. Not because of your work, की माझं कामच जर रात्रीचं आणि सकाळचं तर मला दिसेलच. तसं नाही. स्पेशली उठून सकाळी सनराईज किती लोक बघत असतील.
हातावर बोटं मोजणार एवढी बघत.
So I said, let's start practicing these things. I said, let's see sunrise. We'll probably see the world in a different way, because this is something unusual in your day-to-day life. You don't see sunrise. Sunset, everyone sees. The whole world sees the sunset. I said, the question was how many people see a sunrise. So I started practicing these little things for the heck of it. I have the time, I have the things. Let's apply mind in different ways, which we've not got a chance. So we'll probably not get to do it again when the pandemic opens.
Yeah.
So these things opened different avenues to me, different ways of looking at life. Time management became very this thing. There was something that you could finish in 1 hour. Now you had the whole day. So you used to be like, nantar karto, asa karto. I said, this attitude is what, defines who you are, and then that is how a character is built of you. And this is eventually put in your work and business and everything. So honestly, I took a little interesting decisions in my life, that I will not run around time. I will do things in my own pace. Whatever I do after this, I'll do it properly, more strongly, more steadily, more sustainable, more focused. Anything like this can happen ever again. It should sustain financially, and at the same time it should not collapse for any other reason. Whether it's renting out properties, I said, okay, next time I'll start from buying properties. That is a different thought process. That मी हेच विचार करायचो की आज माझं काय येतं रेस्टॉरंटमध्ये, माझं फक्त इंटिरियर्स आहे. So ज्यांनी प्रॉपर्टी जर त्याची परत मागून घेतली, विच द लँडलॉर्ड स्टार्टेड सेइंग दॅट ठीक आहे, तुम्हाला नाही द्यायचं, माझी प्रॉपर्टी परत द्या. ते इंटिरियर मी काय करू शकतो त्याचं? स्क्रॅप, राईट? बट आय सेड द डे इट वॉज माय ओन प्रॉपर्टी, द इंटिरियर्स ऑल्सो रिमेन माइन.
Yeah, true. Yeah, got it.
Just let's change these thought process and let's run for the long term, vision than short term these things. So then I immediately realized that I opened 11 restaurants in my 10 years of careers. That was fast. I said, what was the rush? So why did I need to do it? I could have opened 11 restaurants, 12 restaurants, 15 restaurants in 20 years. My lifestyle was not changing. I was busy working only. So what was I taking home? Nothing.
Okay.
Money was not a question. That whole fire of just hustling, the whole term of just hustling, we should hustle. I felt that was the right thing to do at that age. That, there should be fire, there should be hustle, there should be, that is success.
Thank you for this.
So whole definition of success changed.
Okay, yeah. Right, yeah.
That I can be successfully traveling the world also. That is also success for me.
Yeah.
Money doesn't define success.
Yeah. True. Yeah. But still,
Unfortunately, in day-to-day living, people define success with money.
Yeah.
But I say that now, look at after pandemic, I'm sitting at home and my money is coming in. My businesses, I've put them on auto. I have time for myself. That is my success. That is the maximum. That is something
that's
that
the
I've
best
earned
thing,
the most.
Freedom. Yeah.
The freedom to do what I want and when I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, now this is value. When I was sitting at home, I told you about that small story before we started talking about this guy sitting idle,
Relax. Yeah.
without relaxing. I said, boss, before pandemic, I used to literally look for की मला एक 10 दिवस कुठं मिळतील ज्यावर मी हॉलिडेला जाणार. Those finding those 10 days off also was a struggle. Eventually, I have to get those 10 days off. Then spend money to go somewhere. You know, to look for a resort which is nice, open air, mountains मध्ये कुठंतरी असं तसं जिथं जाऊन मी रिलॅक्स करणार. And I was comparing my life in COVID that I'm relaxing no today.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm relaxing only, no.
Yeah.
Without spending money, without going anywhere. The satisfaction was the same.
True.
What I would spend money, feeling a little guilty, going somewhere,
अरे हे असं आता हे काम
and आता relax. आता हे तर मी relaxच करतोय घरी बसून. So I said, I want to make my life like this. I don't want to run away from life and go and relax. I want my life to be like this.
So if you say like you freedom and stuff is the thing, so how do you handle financial losses?
So financial losses is something that there's no thumb rule how to handle financial losses. It's basically trying not to get to a situation where you face financial losses. Honestly speaking, earning money is not easy. It comes with a lot of hard work for anybody. I mean, it's a myth or it's a lie when you said that ह्याला lucky होता म्हणून पैसे मिळाले. The luck factor is basically broken down into a point where being at the right place at the right time and putting the right efforts is unfortunately defined as being lucky.
Okay.
If he was not there, if he was sitting at home somewhere else, he wouldn't achieve that. But he did be there at the right time. How you say, अरे हात काय नाही ह्याचं काय नाहीये, तर तो त्याला भेटला एका पार्टीत आणि त्यांनी पैसे टाकले आणि त्याचं झालं. तो लकी आहे. तसं नाही, तो गेला ना त्या पार्टीला.
प्लस तो पैसे टाकतो काहीतरी बघून टाकतो.
बोलला पण ना त्याच्याशी, त्यांनी काहीतरी सांगितलं असेल ना त्याला.
कन्व्हिन्सिंग.
So being there at the right place at the right time is very important. And it doesn't happen by sitting in your couch at home. So that is also hard work, basically. And after that, that's what I said. That I said, now I have, I broke down my life into what I did in the last 30 years. And I said that if all touchwood goes well, I have another 30, 40 years in my life. I said, what different am I going to do if the end goal is to relax, to peace of mind, happiness? That is luxury. Right? I mean, traveling, going to seeing different places. ह्याच्यासाठी ठीक आहे, पैसे तर लागतात, पण तेवढा वेळ पण लागतो ना, आणि तेवढं माइंडसेट पण लागतं ना. So I said, if I just have the money and don't have the other things, it's still not working for me. So I said, let me have at least the rest of the things in abundance. Money will come in.
Yeah, true.
At the end of the day, somebody might say that, oh, I went to Switzerland and I was sitting on the top. And what a feeling it was. It was amazing. But at the same time, we know people also who say that, अरे मी मागच्या वर्षी महाबळेश्वरला गेलो होतो आणि आम्ही 4 मित्र तिथं रात्री फॉरेस्टमध्ये बसलो होतो. काय मजा आली. So the level of happiness is the same. The only difference is the money he spent more and the money he spent less. I said, let's try and find that kind of happiness where money is not the criteria. Let's try and create that life for us where money should not define the happiness.
So what are the ethics you keep in business then?
So the ethics is, like I said, I enjoy my work. Now my work is no more work for me. Now it is something that I like doing. So this is my life now. Now for me it is not an effort to, अरे सकाळी उठा आवरा आणि पळा कामाला. I look forward to that. चला उठा लवकर, अरे मला 4 लोकांना भेटायचे मस्त, आपण त्यांच्यावर बसून असं करू, हे होईल. So with these again good intentions of lot of love, lot of efforts, all these things you put together, everything falls in place. This is what I've learned after COVID.
I agree to you, yeah.
That don't take it as work, take it as life. Enjoy every single process of your work, every single part of your day-to-day living. Then it's not stress, then it's not pain, then it's not I mean, I think any work that you do, either it should give you money, happiness, or maybe you should learn something. These are the 3 factors. Out of these 3 things, at least 2 you should get in any work you do. If you don't get 2 things, leave the job. Leave it. Then you're doing something wrong. Okay. At least money and happiness should be there. or happiness and learning, at least you're learning something, or learning and money is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's only one and not the other two, you leave the job. Only happiness, then you can't survive. Money has to come in.
Yeah.
Only learning, again, money needs to be there.
Yeah.
Only money and happiness and everything now, then what's the point of the money?
Hmm.
So minimum two things needs to come in. And that is the theory that I apply in my ethics also.
Yeah.
That do something with good intentions, do something with, like happiness. At least I've taken two things out of it.
So you have been doing this all these years. Like you have been leading, you have been managing things. So how should a manager or leader be, or who is leading things?
I think as a manager and a leader should be somebody like, we've read this quote everywhere that take along your team. Don't be just the boss and demand and, look for yourself, because honestly, right now, world is evolving so much that the level of patience that you need for anybody to do any work, whether it's as good as my housekeeping guy to as good as my main manager of my restaurants, the stress is the same at their own level.
True.
So as a leader, I feel that I keep them on the same position of their own job. So he should feel like even if I'm doing the housekeeping, I'm the boss of something in this company. If the manager is there, and if he's handling the restaurant, he also should feel like I'm also the leader, I'm also the boss. So everyone's put on the same position in my
A
company's sense of responsibility. And my manager, I make sure my manager of the restaurant respects the housekeeping guy, because if my manager has to clean the floor, he will not be able to do as good as he does.
Yeah, true.
So he has no snob, he does not deserve the snob value. If he can't do what he's doing, then what are you proud about? So don't have that level in your head in my company at least. So my leadership is only to pass on and make everyone feel like a leader. Then they give their best, and that automatically, results in money or success or everything for me in return. So I pass on my powers to everyone as a leader, and I guide them wherever I can, and I support them wherever I can. That's all. I think as a leader, these are the only two responsibilities that I have, that back them and guide them.
I've checked out about some of your experiences and stuff like that. So you really like to travel. So any travel experiences you would like to share?
Honestly, there are
And
so
food culture as
many.
well.
There's so many. Like for me, my every travel is my learning. To be very honest, it's exploring more than just a leisure or a holiday. Like I go to destinations where I learn things. I mean, there's one funda of my travel also, that every year I make sure I go to one new country or a city,
Okay.
which for any reason I would never visit.
Okay.
So I know if it's a tourist country, at some point I will go, but I would not go to a place randomly. If it's a place like, say for example, Uttarakhand.
Okay.
For example, I have no intention of going to Uttarakhand ever. So I try and find such places just to go and stay there for a week or 10 days, and just to learn things without an intention. की तिथे जाऊन मी राहिलो 10 दिवस तर काय experiences येतात. I know if I've not been to Paris, and if I go to Paris, I'll end up doing the same thing, which I'll probably do even if I go after 5 years or whenever, because Paris is known for certain characteristics and certain things, whether it's fashion, tourism or food or whatever it is. But a place which you don't have a personal agenda for anything. There is no tourism also there for this thing. There are no good resorts also there. There's nothing there. I try and visit a place like this and see what I learn from there.
Now I get where these ideas come from, where this new learning.
Yeah, so there's always learning there.
Yeah.
Something or the other you learn and come.
Yeah.
So these are the scenarios. I've learned so much when I've traveled in mountains without an agenda of where I'm starting from, where I'm going to. I've traveled in destinations which are like only forests. There's a new thing that I've picked up right now for travel is I've merged my fitness, health, fashion, sport, and travel. And I've started, traveling for sport, fitness, and everything. That's one thing that I've merged in my yearly plan, where I go to a new country to compete in athletics. I do triathlons.
Oh, okay.
So I do Ironman events, marathons, and I choose different destinations to go and do this sport.
Okay.
So it's a very different way of looking at these cities. Very different kind of people you meet when I go for these events. A large number of people I get to interact with, like I would rather on a normal holiday. I might go on a holiday for a week or 10 days and I meet like 10, 20, 30 people randomly. But here I'm going for an event which is 10,000 people participating, 20,000 people participating.
Yeah.
They are like-minded people. They've also come from different countries.
Okay.
So this has also been one of my new journeys where,
Mm-hmm.
I travel for these races everywhere.
Good for you. From our sources, we have come to know that, as I have told you this question, I'm still asking you. Since last few years, you are trying to get out of this hospitality industry, but each time end up doing something really good. Is it
So,
irony, bad luck, unfortunately, whatever it is? Tell us.
so no, like, yeah, maybe I must have mentioned this a couple of times at a couple of places that, I want to get out of this business because, like I said, it's not easy. It's hectic.
Yeah.
It's a thankless job. It's a people's pleasing industry. Sometimes you have to be artificial. Sometimes you have to be, over
Raw.
friendly. Sometimes you just have to put on a smiling face, even though no matter what shit you're going through, whatever it
I
is,
understand.
and it is not easy to do this on everyday basis.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, actually,
Hmm.
when people walk in, I can't, go with my problems on their table and pass on my vibes. I have to give them good energy. I have to make them feel nice. They've come to my restaurant or they've come to my outlet. So I have to give them good energy. And that takes a toll on our health, our, energy or whatever. And plus, there are other effects also where sometimes there are a lot of problems. People are negative. People are creating problems. There are issues, fights, complaints, all these things. So that also brings in a lot of negativity. So there have been moments where I feel that I want to get out of this industry and I want to work in an industry which is not too many people, 4 or 5 people in my office, 10 people in my office. I'm doing something
That is tech.
there.
You have been in tech as well. Yeah.
So I said I want to work something like that. But then at the end of the day, I've realized that maybe I've come here all the way is probably because of my passion and somewhere I've accepted that I am good at it. So if I'm good at it and if I'm been able to offer such nice things to the city and contribute so much, then why to leave it? So I
Leave
think, every time I get demotivated and I want to get out,
Yeah.
I think what brings me back is then I give back something new and that puts my motivation up again and then I sustain for another couple of years until I feel like that again.
Last two things only. How is Kunal Mhaske's day? A typical Kunal Mhaske's
Oh,
day.
my day is amazing, man. It's brilliant. I love the way I spend my day. I start my day at like 5 in the morning, with my fitness. I train regularly. Like I
So you
would
enjoy
say,
everything. That's the reason you can manage
yeah,
fitness
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
No, I enjoy fitness. I mean, I choose fitness. I look up to like waking up early and I go for my run or my cycle ride or my swimming or whatever. I train for like 2 hours a day. I come back. That whole, thing that I've done in the morning makes me a bit more relaxed. I rest for like an hour or so at like 8:39. That brings back the energy for me. My mind is super fresh to go back to work. So when I come to work, it's no baggage. I've already done what I have to do in the morning. It's drained me out. All the toxic thing of my, body has come out already. So when I'm at work, I'm super fresh. I spend my day like by doing my office works, my meetings, anything to do with my restaurants or whatever it is. But I try to do everything as soon as I can. Like I don't like after COVID to work all day. Like I like
Yeah.
to be more productive in the lesser time. So I do that. I try to like, do the decision making part first and discussions and meetings part in the second half of my working day. So I try to finish all my decision makings before lunch. Post lunch, mandatorily, I take a coffee break. I have, like I said, I mentioned about these couple of people that I need one of them at least to be available with me for my coffee. I go and do my coffee. I come back, like I said, I'll do the routine work left until 4:35. After that, I step out. Then I like to socialize a little bit. Maybe it is just meeting this rest of the friends
Okay.
that I keep talking about. I get to learn new things. I like to know what they are doing or whatever it is. At that hour, it can sound like meetings, but it has nothing to do with an agenda of work. I just meet people to learn new things or whatever and stuff like that.
So you
Until
have kept that space open of learning new things.
100%. Otherwise, like I said, there's no theory for a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
It is learnings and experiences that you get and then you put it back.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I like something, I'm sure there are 100 other people who also like it, right? I want to offer them that.
Yeah.
So I do interact with a lot of people. I keep that certain time where I'm meeting a lot of people from various fields. It can be bureaucrats, it can be friends, it can be managers of other
But
restaurants,
new
it can be
people, I
anything.
guess. Yeah.
Not new people, but it could be. I'm open for anybody.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm alone and there's nobody, I could probably walk in a restaurant or a cafe and sit by myself and I'll start talking to whoever. So I do that also a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like I get home. That's the time I get for my family. I spend my family time there in the evenings. I have a daughter. I'll take her out for dinner. Go out with my wife. Like
मजा आहे तिची. हा.
घरी बसायचं थोड्या वेळ काय असेल ते all of those things. And because again there's 5 o'clock again in the morning,
चलो.
get off to bed.
Last thing which everyone would like to know, what are your further plans? Elaborate on this, not a problem. And what's the plan for Penthouse?
So my further plans is to keep going on like this. Yeah. Now, like I
Be
said,
specific about what is in the pipeline.
so pipeline projects are there. I basically got enough time in pandemic. Like I said, I did some decisions that I made, like how my further businesses now have to be self-sustainable. So I did decide, and it came with a list of things that I need to do. So here, henceforth, whatever businesses I do, I've structured them in such a way, and I've started doing multiple things. I've started exploring into multiple things. Automation of operations is one of the things that I did. As soon as it started, I put all my restaurants on auto. I got enough time now. Now the first thing I've diversified into is going into resorts. I want to make boutique wellness resorts. You'll be surprised, actually. I mean, I fell in love with the COVID time so much that these resorts are designed of the life you lived in COVID.
Okay.
Come to this property and do nothing. That is the agenda. Relax.
Okay.
Switch off your phone.
No, you're planning that in Lonavala, right?
This is in Khadakwasla.
Okay,
So this is my first project.
Yeah.
I've planned similar things in different places. That is the next journey that I want to do for another 5 years. But this project is defined for relaxation.
Okay.
Basically, come here, disconnect from the city, and let your day be dependent on us.
Okay.
We'll pamper you. And they are pampered by simple things. They're not pampered by luxury. They're pampered by nature. You just have to wake up. We'll bring you coconut water to you. We'll bring you chai. A nice cup of tea in the morning without asking. Somebody brought to you. All you have to do is just drink it, like Aram Shir. Get up, walk around the nature. You want to do a little bit of yoga. You want to listen to music. We have created those spaces in the property. Just go and sit there. Music is played. Relax.
मज्जा येणार
Go.
आहे रेस्टॉरंटला.
You want to swim.
Yeah.
Go into the water.
Yeah.
Swim.
Yeah.
We'll give you a timing. 2 वाजता. Just come to the kitchen. Food is ready for you. Such nice, simple, good food. You don't have to order. We'll give you. It's in the plan. These are 5-6 things we'll give you, very nicely served, with love, calm. Just sit there, eat. Down झोप त्याच्यानंतर.
Okay.
Relax. 5 o'clock, somebody will come in and give you a nice juice. You don't have to even call for it. Somebody will come, give you a nice fresh juice or a green juice or whatever. Have the juice. You want to have another coffee, we'll bring you another coffee or something. Get out again, come to the community area. You'll meet all these people who are come for the same kind of relaxation. Talk to them, chill. We'll have some nice entertainment in the evening. Again, dinner will be served. No ordering का नाटक. You go there, it's put in front of you. You just have to eat. म्हणजे सगळं
रिलॅक्सेशन पीक.
आयतं म्हणजे सगळं तुम्हाला आयतं मिळणार आणि चांगलं मिळणार.
This resort is in Khadakwasla.
It's in Khadakwasla, in middle of the nature, in middle of the forest, facing the water. Just enjoy living there like how any other animal exists on this earth. We are the only animal who uses our brains and tries to convert into productivity in paise and he and then. What is the life of a nice, happy living dog? What does he do from morning to night?
झोप.
सेम थिंग ना. त्याला कामाला जायचं असतं का, पैसे कमवायचे असतं का, कुणाचं काय करायचं असतं, काय नाही. उठायचं, कधी झोपायचं, कधी फिरायचं, कधी चालायचं, कधी भुकायचं, कधी काय करायचं. Just live that life of your existence on the planet Earth. We've created this life that we should work, make family,
True. Yeah.
have relations, do entertainment, all these things. But ideally, the nature has not told us this. No? The nature has just put us on the earth. Live like that. There are fruits available in the nature only. You eat them. Vegetables available in the nature only, you eat them.
You want to do farming, you can
You
do
do
that.
farming, do whatever it is, but it is in the nature. म्हणजे just live. That is life also. Just living is also life.
Hmm.
Living is also a good life. If your mind, your body, your soul is connected and you're content,
Hmm.
that itself is successful life.
Yeah, yeah. True.
You know, so just live. 5 दिवस करा, बाकी हाय जावा दुनियादारी करायला परत. कमवा पैसे, करा स्ट्रेस, करा तंगतक, you know, whatever.
Penthouse चे काय plans?
So Penthouse,
किंवा Cocos or anything? Yeah, first Penthouse, then other.
Penthouse has now reached to a point where it's become an iconic destination in Pune.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I've realized that I would like to keep it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be one of its kind. It'll be one place in this city where everyone wants to come. Everyone wants to, you know, so it is an, you know, the plan for it is to just keep making it such an iconic place that anybody ever thinks of coming to Pune, somebody
First
should tell him that, Ari, if you're going to Pune, go to Penthouse.
Penthouse. Yeah.
That is the plan for Penthouze. And rest of the restaurants, I mean, now let me see where all I'm traveling in the world and what inspirations I get, and I'll come back and I'll do them.
Last thing is, like, if you have any suggestions for him, he's open for all. He's really good at taking something, things in, learn new things. Put it in the comments. If you have any new things of Penthouse, you can put it at. Thank you so much for giving time from all of this and coming and sharing things. It
Great.
was great to learn from you, myself as well. मस्त वाटलं ते काय करताय तुम्ही, रिलॅक्स करताय, you enjoy your things and you
Yeah.
get these 3 things: happiness, learning and money.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kunal.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
great meeting you
Thank
as
you.
well. Thank you.